Today's show is brought to you by Lovable. Here we go.
Today we have two of the biggest Norwegian chess stars here in the Take studio, and there's lots of Norwegian media who are eager to get an interview, but we're getting ready for Title Tuesday. Welcome to Game Week 12.
Looks like Farouk is almost getting it done on the board. Should still be a draw. He's losing now suddenly.
He's throwing a thorn into the white side, holding on here for dear life. The nerves are kicking in.
He's playing with Ghost, afraid to commit.
Did he lose on time?
The clock is his worst enemy right now.
Oh, look at this. He's trapped his own king in the corner. The black rook is hit as well.
Whoa, is this a blunder?
Checkmate is coming.
Welcome to the Take studio. With us as always, we've got Grandmaster David Howell. Are you ready for another Tuesday?
Bring it on. I can't wait. Let's go.
And we also have special guest Aslak Maurstad, and I was trying to think of like one word to summarize you as a person, but that was very difficult because you are a reality show host and participant. You've also been in the Let's Dance version in Norway, and you have also played a lot of chess, and you've actually won the Norwegian version of PogChamps because you're a streamer and you've lived in a gaming house, but you do play chess. And here are some images from your programs and from your chess that you have played here with Magnus as well. So you know chess.
I know the basics of chess. Yeah, I've been a huge beginner in chess for a long time, and then I got invited to play in the PogChamps. And so Asios here at the house, he gave me a crash course of all the different tactics, the magnet. I don't remember all the English names, but yeah, the basic tactics, and then that boosted my chess level quite a bit. So I would say I'm an experienced beginner. That's my level, I'd say.
And now you're going to be watching Title Tuesday online chess, which is always very exciting. And you did comment together with me the Esports World Championship that we watched. And so it's the same format here, 5 minutes. So you're ready for that?
I'm ready. It's going to be quick. It's going to be fun. It's much easier to watch chess than to play ourselves. We know, all the viewers know, that's why we're here.
Absolutely. So this is Game Week 12, which means that the autumn split is nearing the end because there's only 13 game weeks in a split. Then there's the winter one and the spring one, and it's all about qualifying for the Esports World Cup. And there are 13 spots in total. Magnus, he's the reigning champion, so he is already qualified. And then there's the top 3 players from the Speed Chess Championship, which is also ongoing these days, and the Chess.com Global Championship. And then the final 6 spots are determined here in Title Tuesday, who can get the most amount of points throughout the season. So that's why this is very important. This is a picture of Magnus, who won the Esports World Cup, and it was really a very brilliant and huge celebration when he won. So it's going to be exciting. What do you think, David? Do you think all the players are dreaming of getting to the Esports World Cup?
Definitely the eyes of the whole chess world were on that tournament last year. I think everyone's happy that Magnus has already qualified. It means that one more space has opened up. Everyone wants to join, not just for the money, the fame, the awards, but just to feel part of something bigger. And it's nice to see Title Tuesday kind of become a bit more serious, become a bit more meaningful to the players. And that's why we see some world-class players signed up every single week.
Yeah, and we already see that some of the players that have signed up, we've got Magnus, we've got Bortnik, who's also won one of these Title Tuesdays. Do you recognize any of these names in particular, Aslak?
Yes, I know Caruana and Duda, and I'm going to have to take a closer look at the list. But yeah, some of these are big names that everyone who follows a bit of chess should know.
But in total, we've seen upwards of 400 players. So I don't expect you to know all of them. And we see that there are 10 minutes and there's already 130 players from 43 different countries who have signed up. And they're playing from all over the world. We can see that we've got Hikaru and Niemann, they're playing in the US. We've got Magnus and Torstein Bae, more on him later, playing from here in Oslo. And then David, there are still lots of players who are in India playing the FIDE World Cup.
That's right. There's a possibility that some of those will join. We see them over there in India. Jose Martinez, Sindarov, and others. But it is also possible they'll be preparing for their tiebreaks tomorrow. We see Arjun Arigaisi, he's facing tiebreaks. Sam Shankland, former US champion, still in action out there in India. All eyes have been on the World Cup, but luckily that's over for today. And everyone will be turning their attentions to Title Tuesday. Jose Martinez, one of the regulars of Title Tuesday, has been probably the biggest surprise at the World Cup, showing that he can do it over the board, not just online.
And many of the big names, they've already been knocked out, like the favorites, the people we were expecting to win. They have been eliminated in this cup format. So one of them, Maxime Vachier-Lagrave and Vincent Kamer, they are now wanted here in Title Tuesday. Show up here, guys, so that you can qualify for the Esports World Cup, since you're not winning this one anymore. So this is our wanted poster. Do you think any of them are going to play today?
Oh, it's possible. Vincent Keimer's played quite a lot this season. Max Zudlu there on the bottom row. He won one of the Title Tuesdays a few weeks ago. Daniel Dubov, Aronian Prague, MVL. They've all played at some point. Maybe this is the best way to get over the heartbreak of defeat at the World Cup. You get knocked out of one tournament, you bounce right back. And no, it would be great to see these guys play.
And we have to remind all of our viewers of the amazing thing that happened last week, which was that for the first time since they redid the format, there was a perfect 11 out of 11 score. Take a look at this.
Magnus is on the brink of winning in what looked like a dead-drawn endgame. Hans Niemann hasn't done much wrong, but somehow it's got from slightly worse to much worse to almost dead loss now. Oh, but apparently lets it slip. Alireza Firouzja, he went too fast with his pawn. Firouzja down at 4 seconds, a queen appears, checkmate guaranteed. The advantage is switching hands. It's all about this move. Black needs to stop those pawns. Just block. There we go. There's a trophy in the background. Magnus does it. 11 out of 11.
And what do you think, David? Can he do it again?
I think he's going for 12 out of 11 this time. It's game week 12. It's difficult. It's only been done, I think, now 8 times in history throughout the last 11 years of Title Tuesdays. First time since we revamped it last week. It's going to be difficult. I mean, how do you get a perfect score against the likes of Hikaru, MVL, who's entered now, Nepo, and others? I think it's going to be tough, even for Magnus.
Has it ever been done twice in a row?
I don't think so.
So this would be the first time.
Magnus had now in total done it 4 times that he's gotten the perfect 11 out of 11. And like David says, this has been going on for many, many years. Are you used to having some kind of like win streaks in chess? Do you ever win like lots of games in a row like this?
I wish I could say yes, but no, I have more loss streaks. No, I haven't had the pleasure of really experiencing those long winning streaks. I always, when my rating increases, so does my blunder rates.
And we can see here that some of the stats that Magnus has from this split, it's quite amazing to see that he has, out of all the games he's played, he's won 81 of them, only lost 11 and drawn 7. And he's won the tournament 4 times, and no other player has won even more than once. So, David, you've revamped the card as well. You've revamped his player card.
That's right. I've given Magnus a 98 overall just because he was almost perfect last week. We see some of his attack, defense, strategy stats there. He's just so fast. Any endgame, he'll take down his opponents. He just understands things deeper, and that's why his score has been so fantastic. Can he win a 5th time this season out of the 10 times he's played? This is his 10th appearance in the autumn split. We'll see whether Hikaru can stop him.
And it's also very fun to see that sometimes our viewers, when they get to vote on what opening Magnus is going to play, and usually they try to give him a challenge by choosing like one of the worst possible moves. But Aslak, D4, that seems like a pretty good move for Magnus for once, I would say, in Title Tuesday.
That is not horrible. They have not been sabotaging him this time. So they try to give him a rough challenge. Does he have to play this?
Yes, and he does in the beginning. And he often plays against players that are a lot weaker than himself in the first round, but it still causes me to have like a bit of a panic because I'm like, oh my goodness, are one of the best players in the world going to lose the first game because of a terrible opening that the viewers are choosing? But it's fun to see that today they're like, take it seriously, Magnus. You can play the queen's pawn today.
Exactly. They want him to go 2 in a row, 11 out of 11. I think everyone at home, you're just being too nice. Just give him a challenge. he needs it, Magnus Carlsen, especially in the early rounds. But yeah, he probably won't be freestyling as much as we're used to seeing Magnus Carlsen this week.
And in addition to seeing Magnus play, we also have the other biggest person in Norwegian chess. It's Torstein Bæ. And to emphasize this to our international audience, I mean, Torstein, he is the main chess commentator on the Norwegian national television, where he broadcasts Magnus's tournaments in the World Championship, Rapid and Blitz usually, around Christmas time, and more than 1 million Norwegian people gather around to listen to this man explain Magnus's moves. And he's been a pioneer in chess commentating to try to make it understandable and more exciting for a wider audience.
For Norwegians, I'm known as a TV commentator. So I've been doing TV commentary now for 12 years, commenting on the World Championships and also one Olympiad. And doing it for a mainstream, broad, general audience with the NRK, the national broadcast. Chess, which was considered in Norway, as basically everywhere else, the most boring thing you could possibly air. I mean, it really turned out to be something that created enormous enthusiasm in Norway. I knew him from he was a kid, so I was 20 at that time, and Magnus was 9. And of course, Magnus wasn't, a spectacular talent at that time. But then, of course, as we all know, he sort of exploded into action at one point when he was sort of 10, 11, 12, and then going, from, a hobby player, quite low beginner level to being sort of master level 1 year after. Everything, just a year between then, and then, of course, soon after that, also world champion. Well, my ambition is to be able at least to get one great game. But I also give different kind of quizzes. So have a look at the position. You're playing white. So this is white on rank 1 and 2. So the chess problem is really a simple one. Your task is to try to find out how can white checkmate in one move. Checkmate, directly checkmate. Can you find the solution?
And should we give our viewers the chance to think about that? Or Aslak, do you have like an immediate instinct of what you would do in that position?
I know the answer. I commented on his post and he said it was correct. So I will not spoil this for the audience. It's a good one.
It's helpful to know that it's one move, because you can kind of, by process of elimination, you're like, how can I be able to checkmate somebody in one move in that position? But it's fun that Torstein, he is making these different tasks for the audience and making it accessible to more people. And I'm very excited to see, David, because I think you've made a player card for Torstein.
Oh, that's right, I have indeed. And let's jump in and show that. Torstein, he hasn't played Tidal Tuesday in the autumn split so far. I did a bit of digging, though, on his online games. More on that later. In the meantime, Magnus Carlsen, 98 overall. Biggest score. He's the benchmark that we all measure ourselves against. He's a tough one to beat. Next up, it is Vincent Keymer and Torstein Bæ. Vincent Keymer, we're hoping he plays after the World Cup. He's now world number 4, but he did face knockout there. Will not be world champion in 2026. He can no longer qualify. 87 though, a very high score. And Torstein Bæ, I've given him 62 because on his day, he can still take down some of the top grandmasters, but maybe less experienced in the Blitz format. He's less active than some of the other players in the event.
But in commenting, he would get like an 100 because he's really good at sharing and explaining how chess works to the wider Norwegian audience. And also to emphasize how big a name he is, there were national headlines when Torstein, not too long ago, accidentally pressed the wrong clock in a tournament. Are you sitting next to him, David? I didn't even notice that. He presses your clock. And this became headline news in all of Norwegian media. Because it was like, how can this guy press the wrong clock? Did you notice when this happened, Aslak? Did you see it in the media?
Yes, I saw it in the media.
Yeah.
And he's, for people not knowing Torstein Bæ, he's just the face. We think that Magnus is the face of chess in Norway, but Torstein is equally the face of chess in Norway. He's more or less single-handedly popularized chess for this entire country. So we rarely get to see him play. So this is a a real happening.
Absolutely. And now we're only 10 seconds until we're getting started, and we've got almost 300 exactly players that have signed up. So we are getting ready for Game Week 12.
Hans Niemann hasn't done much wrong, like almost dead lost now. Andrew Tang is the fastest man in the West, we know that, and Hikaru's blundered. He's trapped his own knight. Checkmate, guaranteed. And there we go, Andrew Tang, the penguin, takes the win. Oh, apparently lets it slip, Alireza Firouzja. He went too fast with his pawn. He put it on a vulnerable square. He's going to be on 9 out of 9. Firouzja down at 4 seconds. A queen appears. Checkmate guaranteed. Magnus wins.
All right, and we have to jump right into the games because they have now started. And Magnus, he is playing against a grandmaster in the first round. That's a tough draw, Teterev.
That's right. Already playing a grandmaster as early as round 1. That's not an every week appearance. That's not something we see all the time. Magnus smiling. He didn't play 1d4 as our audience voted for, so he's got to play that later in the event. He's got to play it at some point. Instead, it's a Sicilian defense with some early trades, and Magnus smiling as he gets castled, ready to check the Black King.
Yeah, so he doesn't have to play it in his first game. He just has to play it at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And the one time he doesn't get too difficult of a challenge, but also he was playing against a very good opponent now in the first round, a grandmaster. So I can understand that he was like, what should I choose to play against him?
Yeah, and instead, Magnus going for this e4 opening, going for the Sicilian. He's not going to get much out of the opening, but he will try to create an isolated pawn in the center for his opponent. This black pawn is fixed and might well find itself isolated. There we go. No other pawns around it. It's going to become a target for the rest of the game. Magnus will next aim to undermine it, maybe bringing his bishop out to take away the defender of that pawn. It's a small advantage, I would say, for Magnus, but it should be one that lasts quite a long time. He looks pretty relaxed.
And like one other fun thing we have here in the Take studio is the option to listen to Magnus. So let's hear what he says.
If I want, and I think I want, I can always redirect this knight later on.
Yeah, you're not too nervous for this knight that is now on the side of the board?
Yeah, I saw that he could push the moves, no, the pawn to ahead, but he can take on en passant maybe. Yeah, and that would be good. So I was a bit scared until I remembered.
You were worried the knight was trapped?
I was worried the knight was trapped now, yeah.
Yeah, so that would be if the black pawn comes forward and attacks it, then white can take, as if the pawn just moved one square. No bypassing. En passant there, Magnus has it covered. He's aiming to build a pawn chain, connect 3, with pawns just holding each other on the queen side to keep his extra material there, to keep the 1 pawn advantage. But there we see Teterev appearing, and he needs compensation. He's a pawn down with black. I don't really see how to take advantage of the white knight either on the edge of the board. Some X-ray attacks maybe if the black knight moves out the way, but nothing effective right now.
And we can also reiterate that there are 11 rounds and they play with 5 minutes on the clock and there's no extra time. Do you usually play with extra an increment when you play online, Aslak?
Yes, I do play some bullet, 1+0, but other than that, I hate not having extra time.
Yeah.
I lose so much on time. I'm a horrible time management player. I spend all my time trying to get an advantage early and then I lose the end game, more or less every time.
What do you think about the clock situation that we have here?
It's huge advantage to Magnus. This is looking good.
That's why he's trading off pieces. He's a pawn up. He's up 2 minutes nearly on the clock. And that's also why I gave him a very high score on the player card for time management. Aslak, if I ever make yours, I know that time management might be a bit lower.
Yeah, no points for me there. Yeah, if Torstein is a 67, then I'm probably not even qualified.
I know. Don't be modest. In the meantime, Magnus, he just gets out of the counterplay here. There was threat potentially to attack his rook. And wow, we do see tactics. Has Magnus missed this move? It's a knight sacrifice from Teterev. But his idea is to unleash the black queen to hit this poor piece on the side of the board. If the white rook steps up to defend that piece, then the other black knight can take it. Magnus might have just lost his pawn advantage. Can he hold on to anything at all here? That's very sneaky from Teterev. He set it up. Queen takes knight, and wow, this position just got crazy. En passant, he's allowed it, Magnus Carlsen. What does he have planned? Pawn takes pawn. En passant, they joke that it's forced. If you see en passant, you have to play it. It's like a moral code in chess. It's a code of honor. You have to take that pawn. What?
But it's so cool when you don't do it as well.
But what else? This is crazy. Suddenly, White's queen is defending her knight. That is the reason. That's the idea that Magnus went for. Smiling away. And we'll find out. We do see pawn takes pawn, and this is Magnus's idea. There's a pin along the central file, so the black knight cannot take White's bishop. And if we do see the trade of bishops, then White's knight jumps back. There's still a lot of tension, especially on the two black knights.
And we can see that the two players that you recognized earlier in the broadcast, Aslak, Duda and Caruana, have both won their first games, which is to be expected because they're playing lower-rated players. But it's fun to see Caruana playing because he hasn't been participating that much in Title Tuesday.
No, and he's had no excuse. He didn't play the World Cup either. So Caruana, he's had a busy year, taking a break, but nice to see him back in action. We should mention many players from the World Cup who were knocked out are here playing today in Title Tuesday. Vacher Legrave as well. We even have one player who's still in the tournament, Jose Martinez, playing despite the fact he's got an important tiebreak tomorrow that could decide whether he gets to the candidates or not.
Oh, wow. That's how important Title Tuesday is. You can't miss a single week, even when it's one of the most important tournaments of over-the-board chess is going on at the same time. You have to play both.
Exactly. And in the meantime, Teterev won the pawn back. It's level material. Magnus may be feeling he has good chances here because black's king is a bit open. I don't like the doubled pawns here for black. Those pawns are really ugly, need to be protected. But the evaluation bar at the top says it's level again. Magnus might need to up the speed and try to flag his opponent, try to play for time now.
So when you have a time advantage like this, would you like to go to the endgame, or would you like it to be a lot of pieces so it's more complicated?
That's a good question. I think it depends, of course, but you need to keep enough pieces left to try and trick your opponent. So I think definitely keeping the knights on the board would be nice because knights are so tricky. They jump in such awkward ways that the opponent will burn time off the clock. Keeping queens on. Magnus likes trading queens, so I think he's the exception to the rule, but keeping queens on normally is a good idea if you have more time. And just keeping tension, that's the main thing. Don't allow the opponent any easy moves, any easy exchanges, any easy attacks. And Teterev here is centralizing, but he is awkwardly pinned. Maybe Magnus can slide into the center. Lots of targets with his rook. Still looking good for him. 2 extra minutes on the clock.
But it seems like he's still taking the position quite seriously because if he was just playing to flag his opponent, if his only goal was let me get him out on time, then he perhaps wouldn't invest as much time himself in trying to find the best moves here.
Oof, and Teterev down to 19 seconds. That's going to be rough.
Oh, Magnus, though, has blundered. His rook is actually trapped. So if Teterev goes back with his queen, that traps Magnus's rook. There's no way out for that rook. This is the key move, but 8 seconds, it's just impossible here. I think he's just going to give up. 4 seconds, what's he doing? He's just totally
He's perfecting
frozen.
the game.
Terrible move instead. Unfortunately, he's allowed a nasty, nasty check on the back rank. White's knight can also jump forward. Magnus is going to win on the board and the clock. But that was a shaky win. Not Magnus at his best. Teterev putting up a good fight, but just too slow.
But it's nice that Magnus can kind of warm up a little bit with some of the easier opponents in the first rounds. And it's usually not until like round 5 or 6 or 7 that Magnus actually starts getting into some real trouble. So we instead here, let's go look at how Firouzja is doing. Both less than a minute on the clock is the first thing that I'm noticing here.
Yeah, the other thing is the evaluation bar. Firouzja was losing just 1 move ago. His opponent, though, cashing in too early. He could maybe have just taken that pawn with a knight instead with a check. That would have been stronger, but this is the move he's missed. A queen sacrifice from Alireza Firouzja. There was a back rank checkmate that had to be blocked. The white queen had to jump in the way, and now it's down to a level-looking endgame. Firouzja's still down 2 pawns, but black has 2 bishops. Firouzja's so good with no time on the clock as well. Down to a 1-pawn disadvantage for him. He's survived the worst. And his opponent, the Polish candidate master, the CM, is going to have a tough time now stopping Firouzja, the Bullet King. What do we predict? Is it going to come down to the clock here?
Yeah, but then I predict Firouzja because he's one of the best players at making like pre-moves, at making tricky moves in the very end. But there is an end game here that you were mentioning, Aslak. Then a lot of pieces can suddenly be traded, and it can get drawish.
What does the number below GM mean?
That is their position in the tournament right now, just before this round in the standings, 194th place. But that is going to change, and Oh, there we see the advantage disappearing for white. It's all gone wrong. The black pawn is a runaway pawn. It's 2 squares away from touchdown. It can just push forward and promote. First he gives a check. He's controlling now the promotion square in the corner. Look at those beautiful bishops controlling the board. And when the dust settles, that pawn is a new queen. 2 seconds, and Firouzja takes the win. Oh, that was close again. The favorite's not having it easy in round 1.
There's always one of the big names who manages to lose or trip up a little bit in the beginning, which is always fun to look out for. But so far, we've seen that the favorites have won. We can see some of the other results. Anything surprising we see here? Jospam or Jose Martinez that we were talking about earlier, who's playing in the FIDE World Cup. He has lost the first game. That's surprising.
That's surprising, and that's going to dent his confidence. He's got the game of his life tomorrow over the board in India, and to lose to a lower seed here it's not going to be great. Maybe he'll withdraw early and focus, but nice to see him playing. I think that's the main thing.
And we see that Hikaru and Maxime Bercher-Legrave, Lazovic, Firouzja, Niemann, most of the big names, they have gotten their first victory. And actually also Torstein Bae, who we have playing in the streamer room, he got a draw against Jan Gustafsson. So that was great for Torstein.
Great.
So a very good result in the first round, promising to see that he has some good form now.
That's good. The clash of the commentators. Jan Gustafsson is also a very famous commentator, commentating on the World Cup. So he took a break from that. Torstein holding a solid draw. Not bad. Hopefully a sign of things to come.
All right, and then we are getting ready to see what will happen in round 2, who is going to play against each other. We see Caruana also wins a game there, and he's not playing very often in these titled Tuesdays, so now that he is, he really needs to take the opportunity to get some points, because Magnus, he has more than 50 points in total on the standings and is in first place. And he's playing against none other than Simon Williams, Ginger GM. This is a friend of ours, David.
Exactly, a friend of ours, a friend of the channel, Take. He's been a commentator many times. Magnus smiling, they actually have the exact same birthday. They were both born on 30th of November. So coming up, they'll be both celebrating. But in the meantime, it's Magnus playing the Dutch defense as black. He probably played this because that's the opening that Simon Williams is most famous for. He's created several video courses, books on the dangerous Dutch, the daring Dutch, and Magnus pushing his pawn forward to f5, kind of honoring that. This is going to be a lot of fun to watch. Ginger GM, Simon Williams, has a fierce attacking style, pushing forward with g4 already. Let's see whether he can break through. He's already better against Magnus Carlsen.
Wow.
Would you say it's an honor or an insult to play people's own openings against them?
It's, I would say, an honor. It's kind of a friendly joke. They know each other, so they know there's no ill spirit. And there we see Ginger GM, Simon Williams. Just like magic, he appears.
Let's see if he's saying anything smart.
Play c4, or do I not play c4? Now, I'm not so sure. Now, he wants maybe to castle this way.
It seems like he's really deep in the analysis. He's taking this opening very seriously.
Yeah, both players streaming their thoughts. I will say that Simon, his mouse speed is not the best. He will be the first to acknowledge that.
What would you give him in the time management department?
40 something maybe.
Ooh.
I don't know. He's I think he's a great attacking player. Normally he tries to keep a bit of time up his sleeve for later. Try to keep a bit of a time bank, but against Magnus, it's going to get complicated. You have to spend a lot of time, so I think Magnus becomes a big favorite if it gets down to the 1-2 minute mark. But so far, he's done everything right, Simon. He's put a knight in the center, nicely secured by a pawn and a bishop. He, of course, plays the Dutch defense as black, therefore he probably knows how to fight against it with white. So Magnus kind of playing this kind of inside joke is a bit of a high-risk strategy.
Yeah. And it's interesting, Aslak, because the players, a lot of them are streaming, and that is because there's also a prize that you get in this tournament for the highest performance by somebody who is broadcasting and streaming the tournament. So lots of players are doing it. Do you think it's difficult to kind of play a game at your best while you're explaining your thoughts to people?
Probably, but at the same time, maybe it's quite a bit of a relief that they can think out loud for once. Because when they sit by the chess table, they probably don't want to say, oh, I'm going to do this next. I hope he doesn't do this. So maybe there's something called, I think it's called a rubber duck theory in programming. I'm not a programmer, so programmers will have to correct this, but if you find something really confusing, then you bring a rubber duck and you try to explain every part of the code to it. So maybe they get some clarity just by saying it out loud.
And Maybe that's why Simon Williams, we saw his profile picture earlier, it was a rubber duck.
Oh,
so he knew that. He,
Oh.
It's all part of the...
It's
bigger
coming
picture.
together.
And in the meantime, slightly better now for Magnus Carlsen, and that is because White has some ugly doubled pawns, isolated pawns as well. And long-term, Magnus should be doing well. So he just needs to survive. I'm expecting the Black Queen to come out. And just like we heard Simon say, the Black King is probably going this direction, probably going towards the left, where it looks nice and safe.
I'm trying to understand Magnus's like facial expression. He's not saying that much. He seems to be very like in a thinking mood, and he's spending quite a bit of time here. Let's see what he says.
Maybe I'm not. Maybe I am. We'll see.
What do we think he was considering there? If his position is okay, maybe I'm good, maybe I'm not.
Exactly. It's the typical chess player, like false modesty. You pretend you don't know what's going on, but actually you've got it all covered. Magnus brings out his queen. I think he just was debating whether to play a safer move. He could have chosen another square, but he wanted to go hunting for this pawn. So Simon defends it. And now both kings are going to go over to the left. And Simon now doing quite well. Watch out. There's a knight fork in the air. If the knight lands here, it will be attacking multiple pieces.
Oh, and that's something that Magnus has to handle. And now they both castled to the left, or the long castle. So then that feels like the attack will kind of die down a little bit, the attacking style of this game.
Yeah, and that's not good news for Simon, who wins, I think, 90% of his games by a direct attack against the enemy's king. He hates to grind out. He hates the long battles. Surprising move from Magnus. Just moves his bishop out the way. It loses a bit of time. That gets blocked. We see a knight trade. And rubber duck time.
Yay! And we can also notice that Hikaru has already won his second game and now has 2 out of 2 possible points. And that was a very quick win.
Very, very quick win from Hikaru. And that's the first big blunder of the game, the first mistake. Simon couldn't defend this pawn. It's attacked twice. We see him frozen there in fear because the black bishops are coming. And there we go. Magnus now a clear pawn to the good. Clear pawn up. Should be enough to win.
Magnus winning already against his well-known friend here. And Simon with this background and this pose. I think that sums it up nicely.
He's been managing time well, though. They're equal. So you might have to adjust that time management card a little.
Yeah, like he's okay. It's kind of until he gets down to 1 minute, Simon. But then he panics, I think, and yeah, he tends to not enjoy those time scramble moments.
We have another forced move, it seems.
En passant. Come on, Simon. You have to. You're honor bound. He doesn't want to.
Yeah, look at his face. Let's hear what he says. Okay, maybe we can't hear what he says right now as he is frozen, but we will see what move he makes very soon. But it's also interesting that here they're playing without increment, so they don't get any extra time for making moves. So whatever time you spend, you're never getting that time back. And that means that it's exciting even when the bar at the top, the evaluation bar, says it's massively better for Magnus. He does have less than 2 minutes, so anything can kind of happen.
Yeah, and in the meantime, he did play en passant, Simon, and it was actually a mistake. And that's an even bigger mistake, allowing some exchanges. Simon wants to bring his queen forward to hit the black king, but there's no backup. There's no support for that queen. The black king will just slide across to a really safe square. And now we see Magnus grab a second pawn, massively better. Simon's face tells the whole story because the black queen defends her rook. And when the black king slides across, everything's safe, everything's covered, 2-pawn advantage. 42nd advantage now, and I think unfortunately for Simon, it was going so well, but it has fallen apart just the last 5-6 moves. There we go, the black queen now will swoop back and defend. Trying a last trick, Simon Williams. It's,
transforming himself back into the duck.
Exactly, evolving. It's like a Pokemon. The ginger duck, and here Magnus, he's just shutting the door. He's doing Magnus things. He knows he's done the hard work. And there we go. Simon resigns. A bit of a grimace on his face, but he did try. He gave Magnus a scare, but not enough.
Not enough. So Magnus moves to 2 out of 2, just as we saw that Hikaru had done. And let's see if there are any other games ongoing, because there is still some time left. And we yet again see Firouzja playing against another Polish player. And similar time situation, and pretty even on the evaluation bar as well.
Yeah, this is going to be a tricky game to win for Firouzja. He's currently down a pawn. White has one pawn less, although he's going to try and change that situation now by taking this one off the board with a check, back to level material. But it is opposite color bishops, which have a very drawish tendency. If rooks disappear, if the rooks get traded, it's almost a guaranteed draw. White will block the light squares, black will block the dark squares. It's just about this pawn, though. He needs to go behind now with the white rook, either now or in the next move. Ooh, he grabs a pawn first. That's brave. And he's hoping that he's in time to go behind and stop that pawn advancing. If the rooks come off, though, still should be a draw, even with white having an extra pawn. So Krzyzanowski here should be holding on, but he looks nervous on the camera. Down to 25 seconds. What do we think? Can he hold?
I'm looking at a move that will probably not work, which is to bring the bishop just to block the path. Yeah. Is that just ridiculous? Oh, he does.
Whoa!
Does it?
Aslak!
Nice.
Amazing!
Wow.
Nice.
Okay.
Same move as a GM. And here we go. We're headed towards an endgame that's a dead draw on the board. But the clock is going to tell the story. Firouzja's just going to flag him now. You can play on forever.
Oh.
You can play this position for 50 moves, and then you push a white pawn. 50 more moves, you push another white pawn. And only 4 seconds left. This is going to be hopeless for Krzyzanowski.
No.
This is ruthless from Firouzja. This is cynical stuff. But there we go, 2 seconds. He just needs to make those moves. Pre-moves from black. How long can he survive? 1 second.
Looks like he's giving up. He's
knows
realized he's playing against one of the best speed chess players in the world. And he's laughing now, Krzyzanowski. And he loses. It is Firouzja who wins this game solely on time. A little bit cynical, but necessary in Title Tuesday. He even sacrificed one of his pawns.
Yeah, he didn't break any rules, Firouzja. And of course, back in the old days when online chess was new, this was frowned upon. But now it's part of the norm. And yeah, Firouzja did what he had to win. And Krzyzanowski, we can only applaud his fight. Got to applaud you, Aslak, as well, for finding bishop f6. It was the best move in the position. He found it, and
wow,
you did too. But yeah, it's just the clock.
I'm getting better just by your aura.
Aura farming.
And also interesting that Torstein, he actually won a game now.
Nice.
So he has 1.5 points. He's doing really well. And maybe you're going to have to reconsider your player card, David. Maybe now that you get to see Torstein in action. You don't see that too often. But it will be interesting to see how long and how far can he go in this tournament. But we see also that Magnus has 2 points, Lazovic has 2 points, Firouzja. A lot of the top names, but I don't see Caruana, I don't see Hikaru immediately. So here he is, 2 points, and he's playing against Nguyen, a grandmaster from Vietnam, I believe.
Yeah, and this game, we're still waiting for the first moves. Hikaru has looked very, very good in the tournament so far. 2 quick wins. So we'll see how he gets on in round 3. Magnus entering crush mode, we're being told by our chat.
Yeah.
Hikaru's been in crush mode for a while. I also commentated on him in the Speed Chess Championship yesterday, where he edged past Wesley So, kind of banking his spot in the semi-finals, which means he's very likely to qualify for the Esports World Cup, either through Title Tuesday or other means.
And that's very important for many of these top players, which is why they are prioritizing playing in Title Tuesday. But let's instead see what Magnus is up to, because there was something wrong with the Hikaru game. And Magnus is behind on the clock. And did he just lose a pawn?
Not yet. There was a trade of bishops. It's level material. He did lose a pawn earlier, so you're right. It was the Queen's Gambit. But the Queen's Gambit isn't a real gambit. Normally you get the pawn back. So yeah, this came from the Queen's Gambit accepted. Black has a very strong knight in the center. Outpost cannot be challenged ever by a pawn. But Magnus is going to aim to play around that using his strong pawns and his space advantage. The white pawn's very far advanced. So often the Black King comes under a bit of fire on this side of the board. Not so many defenders around it. Magnus will go for that. I wouldn't be shocked if he starts throwing Harry the H-pawn forward to try and loosen up the Black King. Early days, but he's playing against a very strong opponent here.
Isn't this Kirill Aleksenko, who's played in the Candidates tournament before? I mean, this guy's been in like the very top, and Magnus is already playing against him in the 3rd round. So this is a tough draw for Magnus.
Yeah, someone who's rated nearly 3,000 That is elite level on Chess.com. Alexenko switched to play for Austria recently, and yeah, he was also in the World Cup, got eliminated there early on. Can he hold this position against Magnus? It's like a dream position for black if you can trade off the queens. But with the queens on, the black queen is so passive, she can't really get out into the open. No open lines for the black's rooks either, really. It's difficult to find a plan. Magnus has a clear plan himself. This is not looking very pleasant for Alexenko, who's burning a lot of time on the clock. We keep talking about it, but the clock is Magnus's biggest weapon.
And we saw the previous game how important the clock actually is. Because in that last position, would that be a draw otherwise?
Yeah. And if you even had just like the 1 extra second increment, you would be able to survive that position, because making the moves itself, very easy. You just need a little bit of time, but without it, that kind of position actually becomes lost, which is like an extra dimension. And it also makes Magnus's win last week with 11 out of 11 even more impressive, because you have to avoid all of these kind of unlucky situations with the clock, and you have to perform really well the whole way through the tournament. So let's see if he can do it again.
Yeah, it's like we've gone back to the future or back to the past. I'm not sure which, because in the old days, they never had increment. Like electronic clocks didn't exist. It was all these old clocks that you press. I think we've all seen them in pictures. But yeah, then they added increment in the 90s, 2000s. We've just taken it away again. So we've realized that the players, they don't need that luxury. We need to test them. We need to push them to the limit. And yeah, Title Tuesday's changed. Just that 1 second increment deducted means they have to change their whole game plan. And
that was also kind of a part of incorporating chess in esports, because then it becomes much more relevant with how good you are with the mouse and with speed, and it becomes more of like something for the audience to kind of cheer for, is to look at the clocks and be like, oh my gosh, you might lose because of this. So do you consider chess an esport, Aslak? You've done a lot of streaming and played a lot of esports.
Yeah, I consider it an esport, but it has had a transition, because it hasn't always been. But because you can play it electronically, then I believe that it qualifies to be an esport. We have another forced move. Every game has a forced move.
Some tournaments we don't see it at all, en passant, and then some tournaments we see it every single round. If nobody's going to get 11 out of 11 in the tournament, at least we get 11 en passants maybe in 11 rounds.
Oh, that would be a new record.
3 out of 3 so far. And it's been played every time. It's been on offer.
Yeah.
And this does loosen up the black king, so I think here it was a good decision for Magnus to capture en passant, to not block things up too much. And now the black king is a bit airy. So what to do next? Maybe he'll bring his bishop forward. Looks like a very tempting move. He doesn't. He just waits. But still better for white here.
Yeah, and Magnus, he is kind of taking his time and like pushing pawns in different directions. Oh, and we get a notification that Torstein Ba is in trouble in his game. So that could be interesting. But he has 1.5 points. I'm so impressed that he managed to win against a very highly rated opponent and draw Jan Gustafsson. Like, Torstein is on a roll. So I'm looking forward to looking at his games later.
That must have increased his opponent matching as well. So that's probably why he's in trouble now.
Pretty sure I can hear him from 2 or 3 rooms away talking about his blunders, Torstein Ba, but he is facing a very, very strong Turkish grandmaster right now. So there's, yeah, he's putting up a good fight. That's the main thing. In the meantime, in this game, a bit of maneuvering. It's a bit of an awkward stage in the game. It's like white's going back and forward, like undeveloping his knight back to its starting square. Maybe he wants to reroute it to a better circuit back towards the center. But it's become very slow, this game, and the clock's leveling out. That's not necessarily good news for Magnus here. Kirill Alexenko's put his knights on great squares. The black queen now, we talked about how she was passive earlier. She's suddenly become very, very strong. Looking like a real fight ahead.
Wow. And he managed to also, like, what was a weird king situation for him, he's managed to kind of organize his pieces in a nice way now, and he has a rook on an open file. And now it's Magnus who's making kind of defensive moves.
Yeah, definitely feels like Magnus has not been talking so much, just judging by the camera, because he is nervous. He respects his opponent a lot. They've played each other over the board multiple times. They've had some draws. And Kirill Alexenko is a very classy player. Okay, what will happen next?
Down to time. Less than 2 minutes to both of them now. So it's really heating up, and they haven't traded that many pieces. Only traded a pawn and a bishop each. It's a lot of pieces to have left with only 2 minutes.
Yeah, we're going to get an answer to your question from earlier. Hashtag, is it good to have pieces on the board when you're getting low on time? And not many pieces on this board, potentially in the long term. But for now, there's enough for Magnus Carlsen, who trades off. And there we go. He's pushing forward. He's kicked away the black queen. That's why he's suddenly much, much better. And he's stepping forward. Don't try this at home, ladies and gentlemen. The kings are both weak. This could backfire badly for Magnus. But for now, he has enough control.
Well, how would you describe your playing style, Aslak? Would you like to have this kind of a situation on the board?
Yes, I like chaos. That's what I find most exciting to be a part of, and sometimes just find a move that's hidden in the depths that solves everything. That's my favorite part of playing chess.
And does Magnus have such a move? He's much better now, according to the evaluation bar, David.
Yeah, and he's going for full chaos, the pawn tension. He's allowing this pawn to drop in the center, but he wants to steamroller the pawn storm, the battery ram of these pawns now. They just look so strong. And if you remove this one, it gets replaced by an even stronger knight. That could be good knight for the black king in the corner. There's going to be all sorts of smothered mates where the black king has no breathing space, trapped around its own pieces. This does look difficult already, and Kirill Alexenko says, okay, chaos might be what you want. I'm going to give it to you. He does take a pawn, so at least now he's pinning this white knight in the center. He's saying to Magnus, you have to checkmate me now. Otherwise, I'm going to be on top. 30 seconds for black.
He spent a lot of time now, Kirill.
Oh, but those pawns just too strong.
Oh, and Magnus just sacrifices, and both of the queens can be taken right now. What is going on?
The idea is that this check, black will defend his rook here. Next move, due to the fact he's hitting this king, he will be able to take the queen off the board. Magnus is winning, but this was the key move. He needed to block with his bishop. He's going to sell his queen for the highest price possible. Next move, he'll take the black rook with a check and then take the black bishop off the board. When the dust settles, Magnus should have an extra rook. But, he didn't take the right way. He could have taken with his knight. Suddenly it's messy again. Chaos was the right word.
Oh my gosh, and Magnus now down to 35 seconds. Kirill only 20. So this is going to be a little sprint right now.
Ooh, and Magnus, he moves his queen away. That was a good decision. He's going for checkmate. One move to trap that black king. One move to rule them all. And the white king now forced into the corner. More checks. 12 seconds for Alexenko. Checks are blocked. You have to bring your rook up one square to stop the checkmates. But no! Kirill Alexenko resigns. There would have been a checkmate either way on one of these two squares. Magnus takes the win.
Oh, that's a good game.
That's crazy.
That was a chaotic and very good game. And another chaotic game we're stepping into is Oro Faustino, one of the youngest IMs of all time, who's here, only has 13 seconds against 7 seconds. Very dramatic.
Oh, he's losing on position, Faustino. He knows that he's a knight down, but can he survive? He is pinning the black knight. It's 7 seconds versus 4 seconds. It's going to be a pure flagging battle. White is in stalemate, but white is threatened with checkmate now. He needs to take the rooks off the board. He needs to get the rooks off. There we go. Faustino, does he have enough time to win now? He's going to move his king forever. And it's a draw by stalemate. Just in time for Seaman here.
Wow. That was a dramatic finish. It looked like Faustino was trying to win even though he was completely lost. He was just trying to win on the clock, but he didn't manage, and it was a stalemate. So a draw for him. And we see here, we can look at the other players that have 3 points in addition to Magnus. Hikaru is there, Firouzja is there. Now Magnus is going to have to play some of these like really top contenders.
Yeah, it's been having rough competition so far as well. And do we know how Ba did? Torstein?
He lost, unfortunately.
Nah.
Yeah, we see it at the top of our screens. MVL, the highest seed to lose, Maxim Vachier-Lagrafs, losing, but also Torstein. He fought well. It was a tough endgame, but he did go down to a Turkish grandmaster.
All right, and now we have round 4, and we see that Hikaru, he is playing against Matthias Bluebaum, and Magnus is playing against Jules Moussard. So now we're getting some really known names against each other. Magnus playing here the French Moussard, who is he's in the top 100, isn't he?
Yeah, he's been in and out of the top 100. He's had a tough year, I think, but in general, he's been a very much a mainstay of the French team, and a grandmaster that's nearly got to 2,700 over the board. That is no mean feat. So there we see on Chess.com as well, almost 3,100 That shows he's super strong, Jules. And we see Magnus play the modern defense. This is due to the fact he hasn't put pawns in the center. It's quite a modern approach to chess. You just put pawns very modestly on your 3rd rank here, the 6th rank for black, and then you try to attack from afar. It's hyper-modernist chess, where it was discovered that actually putting your bishop on the long diagonal and just sitting and surviving the opening gives you good long-term potential. White's central pawns are targets that don't really want to move.
And Jules has gotten 10th place in Game Week 7. That's his best result, and with a total of 8 points in that tournament. So he's in contention to be one of these players who needs to play many Title Tuesdays and get many results so that he can qualify for the Esports World Cup. But you get to collect as many good placements as possible, and with only 1 10th place, he really needs to start getting some points.
Yeah, it means a lot to him. He's a full-time chess professional. He travels the world week in, week out. Jules Moussard trying to qualify for events like the Esports World Cup. So this is huge for him. But against Magnus here, he's doing well so far. Computers do tend to like positions where White has a small space advantage. White, especially this pawn, is the furthest advanced pawn. And here he's doing the same, clamping down on that left side of the board. Maybe we'll see an en passant later. One of these 2 pawns.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Would that be 4 out of 4? In the meantime, Magnus is going to play on the other flank. Since it's blocked, bishops aren't so comfortable. Knights prefer those block positions. Magnus is going to try and push all of his pawns towards the white king later. Interesting position. I like white, but Magnus loves these positions with black.
Yeah, it feels like he's done it kind of on purpose as well. But look at the rook that Moussard has now managed to involve like out of the corner and into the B file in a very original way, I would say.
Yeah, lifting the rook up and across is not an everyday thing. But here we go. Jules Moussard hits the rook and retreats his bishop. This is the 2nd time we've seen this position where we see a dance between the black rook and the white bishop. Magnus doesn't want to draw.
Queen c8 is not ideal. His rook is actually pretty good here.
Okay, Magnus saying that the rook is pretty good and he didn't want to put his queen on c8. But as you say, David, he was trying to avoid a draw so early on in the tournament.
Yeah, and it's unclear whether Jules Moussard would have gone for the draw, but at least he was teasing Magnus there, forced Magnus to double check his calculations. And now the white queen and rook both posted very, very actively. I'm expecting Magnus, if he gets time, to try and trade off the dark squared bishops. There we go. Because normally a bishop pair, super strong together, but once one of them disappears, the other one feels a bit lonely. And white's light squared bishop just looks like a big pawn right now, trapped on the light squares. We see first pawns disappear from the board. Magnus will take back with his pawn. They always say capture towards the center with pawns if you can. And Magnus, I think he's going to be happy with how things have changed. Those 2 pawns can advance at will anytime in the near future.
What do you think, Aslak? Or do you agree with the evaluation bar and David that Magnus is better here?
Oh, well, I hear you say something about the computer really likes a bunch of different positions. Does that mean that it doesn't really help humans? That there's a difference between what actually is good and what computer thinks is good?
Yeah, I think it's quite abstract. Like a computer might like certain pawn structures, but that doesn't show you what the plan is. Sometimes black's position is easier to play, even if black is, according to the computer, a bit worse. At least your moves are obvious, your plans are clear. It's kind of, you obviously want to improve this knight, for example. You obviously want to improve this knight. For white, it's kind of, you're making threats, you're hitting pawns, but actually if those threats don't work out, what's next? So it's one of those weird positions where probably the computer is right, but I don't think that tells much, especially in a blitz game, where it's it's just quicker to have easy moves, easy plans, and Magnus is enjoying black's position, judging from the camera. I think here for this white bishop, just the worst piece on the board right now. It's not a pleasant situation for Moussard. He's struggling on the clock to find a plan.
And it looks like Magnus is in a good mood, I would say. I haven't seen him drink from his vase. I don't know if you've seen this, Aslak, but every time Magnus is here in the Take studio, he's drinking water from like a vase, and it looks like a huge cup, and it's pretty funny. But I haven't seen him do it today.
No.
It would be the first time.
If anyone can hear us in the office, bring Magnus his vase. Petition for Magnus to drink from
during the break after the 4th round.
Is it like a lucky charm? Does he always win after taking a sip from the vase?
I'm not sure. He always smiles afterwards, so it's probably good.
I think he finds it very funny.
It's probably funnier than it actually is. But yeah, it's tradition at this point. I think it happened once because we ran out of clean glasses here at the studio, so we had to use we had to empty the flowers out and wash up. But no, it's become a tradition.
Torstein Bø has a similar thing where if he really needs Magnus to win, then he takes off his jacket. That's his signature move. So they have kind of a similar ritual.
I feel like a lot of chess players are very superstitious when it comes to these kinds of things. They have like lucky socks. I once had in a tournament that I had to write Norway on a banana when I was representing Norway in the Olympiad. And every time I did that, I won. And I was like, this is so stupid, I have to stop. But when I stopped doing that, then I did lose. And I was like, okay, I'll just do it for the rest of the tournament. But it also looked really strange to be like drawing on a banana.
Well, whatever works.
Yeah.
We all have our things. And,
what is your thing then, David? Do you have any?
When I'm playing with white, I always have to wear white socks and white underwear.
Oh.
When I'm black socks, black underwear.
So you have something.
I do. I have to go shopping if that's not the case. But in the meantime, Magnus, a lot better with the black pieces, wearing his black shirt, of course. And he's doing very, very well now. The white knight, just really poor piece. And the white bishop, just very much stuck.
Yes, we get an en passant.
Oh, I don't think Magnus will say yes this time. You never know. You never know. He might. Will we see 4
Do
out
it
of
for
4?
4 out of 4, Magnus. Do it for the records, for the legacy.
Actually, we might. The more I look at it, I think that might be a good move. No,
No.
he doesn't.
Oh, no.
There are more opportunities.
Maybe white will push this pawn. Come on, Jules. Push the pawn. We'll see en passant. And yes! I think it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Yes! 4 out of 4.
The streak continues.
And there we see knights getting traded off in a bit of a weird way, but Magnus has got it all covered. If the rooks come off the board, he simply wins. The black knight will step out the way, and it's this pawn, the black pawn, the pass pawn, that's going to become a new queen, or cost white his bishop, most likely. If Jules Moussard steps out of the way with the rook, then the same thing might have happened, and here we go. Magnus now with a huge advantage. The knight just so much better than the bishop.
Well, this is like a dream situation for Magnus, who have like a really good endgame, have a minute extra on the clock. It looks like he's enjoying himself.
Yeah, one does simply not en passant. Chat getting involved. Most popular move out there. And now the question for Magnus, I was going to say, do you take this pawn first? He's actually offering a pawn, Magnus. He's offering 2 different pawns. Whichever one white takes, white will get doubled pawns, weaknesses that the knight and king can attack later. Probably Jules would push his pawn forward and hope to block things up. There we go. You don't want to give yourself weaknesses the opponent can attack. Instead, this is a long-term ace card up his sleeve. But now Magnus is totally winning. Is white out of moves? Black has 2 pass pawns. One will stop the bishop. And there we go. The other one prevents the white king from moving, and Magnus is going around. Look how tricky that knight is. Check, fork, this pawn drops, then this pawn will drop. And like dominoes, everything will collapse.
Wow.
And then it's over.
Very good technique from Magnus here, who seemed very confident in the way he was playing these final moves. He never really stopped to think. And he does win his 4th game in a row with his 4th en passant. So we've got somebody in our chat saying 11 out of 11 en passants are incoming. That is what we will be rooting for today. Oh. And let's look at Torstein Bø, who is playing, but he is struggling. He has 17 seconds against this international master. This looks tough for Torstein.
This is very tough. White has a queen. Black lacks a queen. In return, he only has a rook, Torstein, right now. But the white king is slightly vulnerable. If he can land a check, he might have counterplay. His opponent, Karina Ambatsumova, is super strong, though. She beat me in Title Tuesday a few months ago. Oh. And she is a very attacking player. Look, she swoops in with her queen. We're going to see a checkmate on the board. Torstein goes down, but he fought hard.
Hvor var det egentlig jeg dumma meg ut der?
Yeah. Where did I screw up there?
Torstein asking himself, where did I go wrong? Which is also something a lot of the players do between rounds, is they sit and they look at their game and they're like, what happened here? And that could be fitting for them to do because they get a little break after this 4th round. We see here that Lasavik and Pranesh, 2 of the biggest names in internet chess, they agree to a draw here with few seconds left on the board in an equal but weird position, I would say.
Yep, the rook versus the knight. Probably it's quicker to make moves with the knight, but ultimately it was a dead drawn endgame. Neither side wanted to flag the other. And yeah, we've had a lot of draws this round we see on the scoreboard. The players will have a long break. It's the worst time to lose just before break.
Yeah.
That's why I feel bad for Torstein there, because then you have to sit there for 5-6 minutes stewing on your defeat.
And we see that there are only a couple of players that have won all of their games. Which one of these matchups would you like to see, Aslak? Who do you want to see Magnus play against today?
I always want to see Magnus versus Niemann for obvious reasons. That's the most exciting.
You like your chaos, you said it.
I do, yeah. And the stakes are never higher than between those two.
Yeah, and that might be incoming. So we will be excited to see. The players now have a short break. So we're going to sum up the action so far.
Here we go.
And we are going to look at what are some of the highlights that have been in these first 4 rounds. Do you have any favorite moments so far, Aslak?
Well, all of the en passant. I think that's talking about superstitious. I feel like that's the theme for these games. As long as there's an en passant, Magnus will win.
All right, and we're going to take a look at one of the games that there was an en passant in this action replay. But and we do jump right into that moment, David.
We do, and this is where Ginger GM Simon Williams, the English Grandmaster, played en passant. There we go, taking Black's d-pawn. If he'd moved his knight out the way, Magnus would have had a real struggle on his hands. So it's actually a mistake here en passant, but so tempting. And we saw Magnus now centralize his rooks, get his bishops working. Simon, dropping low on the clock, now plays a second blunder to compound the misery. Just losing a pawn in the center. Bishop takes knight now from Magnus. And yeah, he tried what he could, but eventually resigned to Ginger GM. En passant deciding this game.
And that was our action replay presented by our presenting partner, Lovable. All right, and we can take a look at some of the standings now. And in addition to having our normal standings, we also have country standings, Aslak. Let's see how we're on Team Norway. I guess you kind of represent England in this, David. Who's doing best? It is...
Where's England?
Norway! No, England isn't even there. You have to start playing, David. You need to represent your team. You have a gold medal for this team, but you're busy commenting here. But we can see that the US doing very well on the country standings, which is like a sum of the 5 best players on that team.
Oh, so it doesn't help to have a lot of players. You just need to have the best.
You need to have the best. And maybe today with Torstein contributing to Norway, we've got Magnus, of course, and there are often a lot of these younger Norwegian players that are participating as well. But the US, Germany, Ukraine, Poland, and Iran are doing well. So that might be thanks to some of the players that we see here. Is there anybody you're surprised to see at 4 points, David?
Ooh, I'm not sure about surprise, but it's nice to see players like Reza Mahdavi of Iran in 6th place. He's very, very young, teenager. Everyone else is much more experienced, I would say. It's been a great time for German chess. German players making it through to the candidates for the first time in years. Dmitry Kolarz at 4 points is one of the lower seeds there. But yeah, I think we'll see the likes of Hikaru against Magnus soon. We'll see Bortnik, Jeffrey Zhong, Duda, those online specialists. I mean, we've seen them rise to the top. I think we'll see them now face off, and 100% still on the cards for one of these players at least.
And we can also notice that Vincent Kamer, who we had on our wanted list for today, we were like, please play, because he's been knocked out of the FIDE World Cup. But he has already given a draw, and so has your perhaps not favorite, but you want to see the Magnus Niemann matchup.
Yeah.
But Niemann has also given a draw at some point. So that says something about how impressive it is that Magnus managed 11 out of 11 last week.
Yeah, this is obviously a huge lineup. These are great players. So another 11 out of 11, that would probably be sensational.
Absolutely. And we can get excited to see who are going to play against each other now in these next rounds. And I remember last week, David, when Magnus had, it was maybe when he had, after 7 rounds, then he started to play against Firouzja and he played against Niemann. And then we were wondering, like, does he change his playing style so that he can get the perfect score? Do you think he's caring about that today?
I think it's on his mind. Magnus is always looking for new challenges. Earlier this year, over the board, he played a freestyle tournament, got 9 out of 9. He was like, okay, that was satisfying. He was very much kind of changing things to go extra aggressive. Against Hans Niemann last week, he played extra safe, and that annoyed Hans, and that helped him win. So he's got different strategies. The good thing about Magnus, the reason he gets this extra edge is because he's such a student of the game. He knows all of his opponent's strengths and weaknesses, so he tailors his strategy accordingly. And probably that comes in helpful in life, right? Like if you know the person you're speaking to, you know what they like, you know what not to say, then you get on the good side, and that helps Magnus.
I saw on the map that Anna Kramling was here. Is she competing?
We can check. I know I was also checking if Jose Martinez, that we were talking about earlier, who's playing in the FIDE World Cup, he lost his first game, and we were wondering maybe he'll just drop out because this is 11 rounds. And if you realize very early on, I'm not doing so well, then you might just leave the tournament. And that's one of the advantages of playing online, is you can just kind of log off and just say, I don't want to be here anymore. Yeah. But he has played the next games, and he now has 3 points. So he actually manages to win 3 in a row after a very tough start. And what about Anna? Have you checked how she's doing, David?
Yeah, she's drawn 2 games so far, but lost 2. She played Federer in round 2, not Roger.
Oh.
Apparently there's a Swiss FIDE master called Federer. I learned something new today.
Oh, wouldn't it be cool if it was him?
It would have been very cool. But Anna's playing. She's been playing a lot of weeks now. She was at the studio and the guest here as well. Yeah. Nice to see the streamers representing.
She famously created the cow opening. And so do you think if Magnus met her, he would play the cow against her?
Yes.
Yeah, that he would do. We saw that we were talking about this earlier, that Magnus will play someone's own opening. And not that many players have kind of created an opening in such an iconic way. So I'm sure he would try that. But let's see who he is now going to be playing against. We see that Magnus, he's playing Fedoseev. So that is another one of the top guys in this field who's done very well in Title Tuesdays before. But let's look at Torstein's game from the very beginning here. He is in action. He is here in the Take studio. I want to hear what he says in these first moments.
Should we live translate?
Yeah, we can do that. You can do that, Aslak. You're good at translating.
I need to turn him up. And I have to sacrifice. A lot. I'm sacrificing these pawns.
Yeah, he's saying that he's going to be sacrificing.
He's going to be sacrificing more or less everything. Is what I can hear.
What do you think, David? What is going on in this opening?
Yeah, so this was the advanced variation of the French defense, and for any students of openings, you will know that this is the Milner-Barry gambit. So it is a known thing, but I think it first came into kind of circulation in the early 20th century. So it's over 100 years old, this line, and I very rarely see it anymore. So Torstein digging into the memory banks. I'm not saying he's 100 years old, but I'm sure he's studied games from around that time.
He's been playing for a long time, so maybe this was more around at his time.
Exactly. And he has gambited 1 pawn. He's down a central pawn right now. Black's going to try and come round to win the second one. The whole idea, though, for white is to keep the black king in the center of the board as long as possible to try and attack it a bit later, but maybe going a bit wrong. He's playing a very famous FM, and yeah, I don't know if his last move is in the spirit of the gambit. It's a bit of a quiet pawn move. Normally you want to be throwing your pieces forward, bring your bishop in, bring your rooks to the center, and hope that they positionally, just hope they're placed later for an attack.
And it seemed like Torstein was kind of admitting to himself, oh, I have to sacrifice these pawns, but I don't know exactly how I'm going to do it. So it's tough when you don't play that much regularly anymore, and then to be kind of thrown to the wolves of this field of 400 of the titled players in the world. That is a tough debut. But it looks like he's talking quite a bit. I'm going to try to hear more of what he's saying. And Aslak, be ready on the translation.
Okay. I lost his sound. Yeah. Am I going to try to win 1-1? No, he's going out there. Isn't this a bit special? What does he gain from this? I don't think this looks good. I might be wrong, but I don't think he's getting anything from
ut der med
Bouncing around with his horse.
Nå er det så veldig mye rare
Very,
synes jeg skal
very
være med
strange
blondene
moves.
også,
Why is he
hva
going
skal han
there with the queen? What's he gonna do there?
Han har vel sine planer sikkert, men
Well,
jeg synes
he
heller ikke
surely has
det
his
er så
plans, but I don't think
skremmende
that
akkurat.
move is any
Jeg vil helst ikke
frightening.
bytte, jeg ligger jo
I don't want
trods
to
alt under.
change. After all, I'm down pieces.
It's very fun to hear like Torstein's stream of consciousness, and then through you, you were embodying his character.
Yeah, I'm trying my best here. He's a personality for sure.
And David, what do you think about Torstein's position at this point?
Yeah, it's very interesting. I think this is the type of position, for example, the Ginger GM would have loved. Very attacking player. I don't know if Torstein is going to be able to find the activity he needs to compensate for the pawn he sacrificed earlier. The black bishop is going to be on a beautiful diagonal soon. There we go, it lands. And this is going to really slow down white's attack. So pawn down, really passive bishops, although one of them has moved now. I don't think he's out of this at all. I think he's got very decent chances here, but it's quite a high responsibility position for white. You need to attack. That means you'll probably have to spend time on the clock. And he's already down 30 seconds. So we'll see. We'll see if he's repaid for his courage, Torstein.
We also can see that we get an update that Magnus is apparently in a good situation on the board against Fedoseev. So that is promising for the Norwegian chess fans, who also, of course, care a lot about Torstein, more used to seeing him as a chess commentator than as a chess player. But he is an international master and has performed very well in the Norwegian championships many times, but is most famous for his commentary.
Mm-hmm. And often commentary does help playing chess, actually, I found. Like, you talk yourself through a position, you kind of get a deeper understanding, and yeah, it's going to be just up to Torstein whether he can handle the speed. He was worried, he told me beforehand, about the lack of increment. He said he would probably lose most of the games on time. But in the position now, he's fighting hard. Bishop takes bishop is a big blunder here. It's a big trap, because that would allow the white knight to jump forward with a fork, a check that would hit the black king and the black queen. So there's a bit of a dilemma, this tension between the bishops. Black wants to break it, but there's no good way to do so. I think it might be time to just eliminate this white knight. It's too strong. It's about to jump. And black should be seeking simplifications. And oh, he doesn't take the knight off. But now the black king is in the center for the rest of the game.
Oh, and now Torstein can also get his knight to this really good position if he wants. Look, let's hear what Torstein's saying.
Tror jeg gjør det.
I'm gonna do it.
Kan gå der og true mat.
Could go there and threaten
Da
mate,
kommer jeg til å gå
but
her.
then I'm gonna go here.
Ja, ja, det er jo
Yeah,
kanskje...
well,
Nei, det kan
that's no, that couldn't be.
I love how literally you are translating him, Aslak. It's like having him in the studio with us.
Beautiful knight sacrifice.
Wow.
Torstein's landed an amazing move there, a brilliant move, and his opponent missed it. Kislov missed that one. If the king had taken the knight, the white bishop would have moved out the way with a check, and the black queen would have dropped off in the center of the board. And that was a beautiful sacrifice. Now he's actually pocketed the rook in the corner, and his opponent's laughing.
Yeah, what is this reaction from Kislov? He's just admiring the beauty of Torstein's move.
I've never seen someone so happy to blunder and lose a rook in the corner. But okay, now he's up material, Torstein. He's got a rook for a knight, and his attack continues. The black king is so weak, such a target in the center. He's going to double up his rooks now, Torstein, and he's going to break open the line for those rooks. Yeah, we chose the right game to join, that's for sure.
Absolutely. This has been very entertaining, and we're also glad to see for the Norwegian audience. I am Norwegian, so excuse me for rooting so much for these Norwegian players. I'm also keeping an eye on the country standings. Magnus wins his game and moves to 5 out of 5. Very impressive by Magnus to win against Fedoseev.
And there we go, another sacrifice. Ooh. What a good time to be Norwegian, qualifying for the World Cup, winning games in Title Tuesday.
Yeah.
He's won the black queen for a rook. There's a little bit of counterplay here with the black pawn marching down. It's only 2 squares away from promotion here, but Torstein can block it with his queen. He probably should play that move now, and then use his king. The white king should come over to be the blockader to free his queen a bit later. There we go, very nice and patient move. 2-step plan here. You blockade the black pawn with your king, and then the white queen is free to go and eat all the pawns in black's camp.
And it's still Torstein's opponent who seems the most happy here. I would think that Torstein, after finding such brilliant moves, would have more joy on his face, but he looks very concentrated, and he does only have a minute left, so that could be a part of it. And let's see how good he is now when he's going into the bullet phase of the game.
Yeah, he probably really doesn't want to lose this. I would be so scared if I was Torstein here.
Yeah, but that's what makes it exciting as well, is that there's always that possibility to lose on time when you don't get any extra seconds.
Yeah, you can see the body language has changed. He's leaning forward, he's a bit tense now. He hasn't yet found the plan to use the white king to blockade the pawn. The white queen needs to be liberated. She's the most valuable piece. She's doing a really passive job right now. She wants to be free. But, oh, that is a pawn. That was a free pawn that Black had blundered with a check. Kislov smiling. He knew he hung that one, but he got away with it. And still winning for white. He just needs to find this plan, Torstein. He's fine. He's found it. And the black king getting active isn't really an issue here. As long as the white king is in front of the black pawn, he is doing the job. He is now winning. The white queen is free, finally.
But does he have enough time to do this? I feel like Torstein, if he doesn't play that much of these kinds of no-increment online games, there's still a chance that he'll blow his time.
Oh, it's possible. Don't make us nervous, Maud.
That's right.
He wants the pawn. He wants that black pawn. He should have maybe been looking the other side of the board. When low on time, the easiest thing to do is push pawns. So he needs to get rid of those black pawns on the edge. He's struggling to do so, though. He should have taken this black pawn while he could and then just pushed for glory. But now it's a bit more difficult. Black has built a fortress. Black is protecting everything right now. It's all about the clock. 14 seconds.
Oh no, he's going to lose. No, Torstein.
He's totally winning on the board, though. Move the king. Go towards the black king. He's so slow. Move it. Come on, move, move. Give checks, move.
Fryktelig ergerlig, for å være ærlig.
Very not good, to be honest.
Oh, he's totally winning, though, on the position. Just need to give some checks. That's a great check. Give another check. Now, move your king forward. He's winning. He's totally winning, but he's got no time. The black pawn has to move. Then the white king's going to step up. He's going to win the rook. He's about to give checkmate, but he's got no time.
Oh, Torstein!
Den var litt sur, da. Søren, altså. Søren, faktisk, det som felte meg, var at jeg ikke kom på den riktige planen i tide, sett i ettertid, og det var i...
He's saying that he didn't find the right plan in time.
Yeah.
That he spent too much time finding the plan. Look how happy his opponent is now, winning that undeserved game. And Torstein saying that it was very sad that he got the queen. He was only a couple of moves away from checkmate.
He actually played a perfect game. It's just too slow, and that's the heartbreaking fact of Title Tuesday. You need to be fast.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said as well. I'm going to lose some time. And he won on the board, lost on time.
Yeah, and I felt like he gave up a bit too soon. He was actually only maybe 5 moves away from giving checkmate. So if he was a bit more... Oh, so close, so close.
And that's why also like these mouse skills come into play, because if you can make a lot of quick pre-moves and you're good at that and you know what is a good time to make pre-moves, then you can save yourself in some of those situations. But anyways, we see here that there are only now 4 players with the perfect score. It's Bortnik, Hikaru, and Magnus, all players that have won Title Tuesday, and Jeffrey Zhang from the US. And we are going to be following 2 of these 5-point players. It's Hikaru versus Bortnik, 2 of the biggest names in Title Tuesday.
That's right. Such history between them. They've won Title Tuesday countless times. Hikaru's played the Trompovsky attack, which is the white bishop coming up very early to trade off for a black knight. The top players, they're normally quite attached to bishops overnight, so it's become quite rare, this opening. But on the plus side here for white, black does get a couple of doubled pawns. The black king, though, is going to be very safe on that side of the board. Hikaru's plan later will be to push this one forward to try and isolate one of black's pawns in the center. It's known to be a very positional opening these days. Very slow, very strategic, and we'll see a long grind ahead, most likely. Slightly better for Hikaru right now.
And we can see that Hikaru is streaming, as he always is, and we'll hear what he says.
Because now I'm just going to go c3 or a3, and I think he's just wasted time, and he's giving me the c4 prep to open up the center of the board. I am playing...
Yeah, he seems like he's pretty happy with how the situation is going so far. He's playing quite quickly when we see that he's only spent 20 seconds, and that he said that it seemed like Bortnik maybe had wasted some move by going out here with the bishop. So this is a Hikaru that seems quite happy with his opening.
Yeah, it's his type of position. He likes to postpone the real chaos until a lot later when the opponent's down under the 1-minute mark. He's made a living, Hikaru, off just flagging opponents, but also kind of tricking them when they're low on time. This bishop now is untouchable due to a pin along this line. The white rook in the corner is defenseless right now, not protected. But it is a bit risky. White's bishop can step back to hit the black queen. The black queen's going to have to kind of stay on the edge of the board for a while just to keep this tension. Bortnik spent a lot of time on that move, though, and I'm expecting Hikaru, there we go, to trade off queens and go into an endgame where he'll hope that black's slightly worse pawn structure is going to play a factor. This is very kind of highbrow chess. This is not one of those fun attacking positions we saw with Torstein. It's one of those slow grinds. They know they're both very good. They know they kind of have minimal weaknesses. They're just trying to play for incremental long-term gains.
And us, like as a streamer, have you seen some of Hikaru's stuff online?
Yes. He's one of the greatest of them all. He does speedruns where he creates a new user. And then he sees how fast he can climb in rating, which is really fun to watch. And then he has these enormous win streaks where he wins hundreds of games in a row without losing or drawing a single one. So it just goes to show how skilled he is.
And it's very amazing that while doing all of this and being like mostly a content creator and a streamer, he actually now has qualified for the candidates tournament, meaning he could become the next world champion. That is a possibility. And I think that is like amazing to be able to combine those two things. And actually, after having a bit of like a professional slump, he started to prioritize having more fun with the game. And that's really paid off chess-wise. Do you think he has a real chance in the candidates, David?
I think definitely. It would be a case of third time lucky as well. Like he did play in the candidates a while back in 2016, just before a bit of a slump. But the last two candidates tournaments in 2020, 2021, the kind of delayed candidates with COVID, he just needed to draw against Ding, and he would have been in the World Championship match. He didn't know it at the time, but Magnus was stepping aside. It could have been Hikaru instead of Ding. And then in the last candidates, in the final round, he played Gukash. He needed to beat Gukash. If he had, he would have been in the World Championship match again. And of course, those two players that he missed out to became world champions. So it feels like Hikaru's been like the nearly man of chess. He's never won a World Rapid or World Blitz title either, despite being so consistent normally. So it feels like that's the one thing missing. That's the one final motivator for Hikaru Nakamura.
And he's going to become a dad soon as well. His wife is pregnant. And if that affects him in any way, I mean, Magnus has been playing pretty well after becoming a dad, having this amazing 11 out of 11, even having his player card be adjusted by you, David. So maybe that will actually inspire him and make him even better.
Yeah, it's trendy these days, being a dad.
Yeah.
Getting 11 out of 11. Maybe, Hikaru is going to be a dad 2 months after Magnus. Maybe Hikaru is going to get 11 out of 11 just after Magnus. Anything you can do, I can do better.
I thought there was this dad tax that you had to pay with 100 rating for becoming a dad. Wasn't that a thing?
And there's also something about getting married as well.
Yeah, married, that was it. Yeah.
But maybe also with babies. But I mean, these guys are professionals. And I also feel like Hikaru has always kind of been juggling his professional chess career with lots of other stuff. And he's made it work. And here he has now 2 minutes more on the clock. That's an amazing advantage to have against a player like Bortnik. I mean, he's playing really quickly, but he's playing good moves.
He's playing great moves. And Bortnik's shaking his head because he knows he's just playing way too slow. Right now, White has the advantage because Black has one huge long-term weakness. Black's pieces are going to be tied down defending that pawn for the rest of the game, and we see a big blunder from Bortnik. It's a strategic mistake. Look at the white bishop now. Its prowess is so strong on the diagonal. There's going to be all sorts of clearance sacrifices. White's threatening to take this pawn already just to get the white rook up the board, and Bortnik is not going to be able to survive the pressure. Hikaru's done nothing all game. He's just waited, and Bortnik's kind of beat himself.
And why is he drinking tea when he has like a minute left on the clock? Is he that...
He knows.
He knows that this isn't working?
Yeah, what to do? I don't actually see any good moves here for Black already. Knight takes pawn is almost an automatic, allowing the white rook up to deliver a nasty, nasty check to the black king, cage that black king in the corner. He doesn't need to rush Hikaru. That's the thing. This black knight is not going anywhere. It's almost trapped. So he could just step up his rook. That's a very Hikaru move to keep the tension.
He's smiling.
Or at all. Okay, I don't really want to go a4. King f1, g1 is also not really the move that I want to play, but I'll do it anyway. Probably going to go a4, a5 somewhere soon. Well, you can go...
It's always fun to hear, like, Hikaru, he's so used to kind of talking to his audience, but he also uses a lot of, like, chess moves, and he's just saying this, and he's always drawing lots of arrows on his board as well. So I think he might actually have an advantage of the way he gets to play here, where he gets to stream while making his moves.
And Hikaru making some faces, but he knows he's winning now. He's a clear pawn up. With that clearance sacrifice, he got his rook to the 7th rank. It's 7th heaven here because there's so many snacks on offer. It's like a full buffet. That pawn is dropping next at will, and the black king has no escape squares in the corner. It's going to be checked by the white knight for eternity. And there we go, 2 pawns to the good now. Bortnik's body language is so he knows essentially here, so negative. But 3 pawns down against the second best player in the world. And under 20 seconds, he knows it's terminal. The white rook's just going to move. The black knight is going to try and support some rook checks, some counterplay from the black pieces, but that is not going to provide much hope here. Hikaru even gives up his rook. Wow, that was a sneaky pre-move. I think Bortnik might not have realized the white rook was on offer. Maybe neither of them knew, but the clock is going to be the big decisive factor here. He gives up his rook for knight, Hikaru, but he has 4 pawns now, unchallenged pawns, and he's not even trying to win on the board anymore. He's trying to play for time.
Yeah, and when you have 2 minutes left and 13 seconds, that's kind of tempting, right? Then you just say,
sacrifice everything. Check.
Make weird moves.
Yeah, push those pawns. Bortnik.
Oh,
en passant. He
declined.
The most important thing is whether or not the en passant happened in Magnus's game, though, I feel.
Yeah,
like.
that's true.
It says right now there's an equal endgame going on over there. But Hikaru does win this game, as we expected. He really crushed Bortnik here with both on the clock and on the board. And we get to see the final minute here of Magnus's game. Both of them less than a minute left. He's playing against Jeffrey Zhang. What do you think, David?
Oh, it's a drawn endgame according to the eval bar, but only Magnus can win it. His king is coming in. If the white rook, for example, takes this pawn, the black king is coming in, and there is a pawn dropping. This is still a drawn endgame on paper, but Jeffrey Zhang, the pressure's on him to hold it. He's going to give a couple of checks now, push the white king to the corner, and we've seen a mistake from Jeffrey. What is the winning idea? I think black can now challenge the white rook. Oh, that might have been the winning move just to get his king 1 square down. It's going to be a tough, tough defense ahead, though, for Jeffrey Zhang. Magnus has the 1 pawn advantage. Can he win 40 seconds? The problem is the white rook is always ready to deliver all the checks from the side to the black king as soon as the black rook moves away. So Jeffrey knows what he's doing. Maybe we listen into Magnus.
Let's do that. That was telling. That was a telling noise, Magnus.
Oh, he knows the winner's disappeared, and all the checks from the side. This is how to draw these endgames. Now the white king can move nearer. Magnus leans back. He's not going to win this endgame anymore. He offers the rook trade. He doesn't try and win on time, and it is a draw. No perfect week for Magnus Carlsen this time.
That's exciting. That means that Hikaru is alone in the lead. He is the only player to have 6 victories, and it's getting intense in the beginning. And we see also here that Niemann has reached 5.5, so you can get your dream matchup, Aslak.
It might actually happen. And if we figure out if there were en passants these previous 2 games, then we are still on the streak.
We don't care about the score. We only care about the en passants now. So that will be interesting. Hopefully our viewers can do some of that research for us. But it will be interesting to see now. Will we get Hikaru against Magnus, maybe?
I think so. Normally how these pairings work is that the highest rated player gets the upfloat to play someone above. Ooh. So Magnus is the highest rated player on the next score group below Hikaru. The colors match as well. Hikaru just had white, Magnus just had black. They're going to alternate, and I think we're going to see it. Magnus against Hikaru, El Chessico.
We didn't get that last week, which was a disappointment. And we do get it here. We are going to see Magnus playing against Hikaru. Niemann is going to play against Kamer, so there's lots of other good players in the field behind there. In the chasing group, maybe we can call them, 5.5 points. So Hikaru, the only one who has won all of his games.
Wow, both looking very relaxed. Hikaru snacking. That's normally a Magnus tactic. And Magnus, he plays e4. And which opening are we going to see? Is it going to be the Italian? It is. The Italian game is signified by this white bishop developing some pressure on the f7 square. But for now, it's looking very symmetrical. And has Magnus mouse slipped? Or is that a error? Is that a glitch in the matrix?
Can we listen in?
Yes.
Maybe he says something.
Okay. We try and fight.
Oh,
No.
that sounds like an
Magnus
error.
has mouse slipped. He was trying to castle and he just.
Oh, no.
Oh, goodness. How terrible is this, David?
Whoops, this is pretty bad. How is the king going to get to safety? Also, how's this white rook ever going to get in the game now? Like, you need to kind of move your king across, push your pawn 1 square, move your king out the way, then centralize your rook, then drop the king back. It's going to take 4 or 5 moves. And Magnus might just be left playing without his rook, unless he's going to push his pawn forward and try to make sense of the rook that way. He's going to try and fight. There wasn't a big reaction from Magnus, that's the thing. I don't think it's the end of the world, since the center isn't fully open yet. These pawns still blocking some lines, but yeah, it's not good news.
We're certainly out of the theory that perhaps Hikaru may have prepared against Magnus. This was unexpected. And we will see. Magnus lost last time he played against Hikaru 2 weeks ago. And I remember he was pretty annoyed because he made some blunder and he got very annoyed that that was how he lost against Hikaru. Would assume that he's trying to get his revenge in this game, but really not the best starting point here.
Yeah, not the best starting point. He's given himself a bit of a handicap here. Although I'm not a huge fan of Hikaru's last move. I think Magnus is going to try and do a couple of things in the near future. He's going to put his knight in the center of the board. And he's going to push a pawn forward to stop Black's pawn from challenging that square. There we go. He pushes the pawn forward first. Now the white king actually does have a nice safe square to sit on. It's still slightly better for Black here, since White's king is misplaced, but not the end of the world anymore. There's no direct attack against it. I'm surprised Hikaru was kind of rushing to trade off a set of knights, a set of bishops. Probably that wasn't the best strategy. And Magnus pushing forward, I'm again surprised. I thought he might move his rook across first, but he doesn't want the prep moves. He doesn't want to build up. He wants to go for a beginner's checkmate. Bring the queen in, drop it in, and that could be game over. But no, Hikaru spotted that one. What a surprise. Okay.
Is it possible that Hikaru thought this was on purpose?
The Magnus Gambit, maybe. Maybe. Either way, Hikaru is famous for playing the Bong Cloud opening, which is king forward to e2 very early. So if Hikaru can get away with that, then Magnus can get away with this. I think that's the logic. This isn't as bad as a Bong Cloud. The white king's a little bit safer here.
And maybe also Hikaru's very stressed about, I need to win this game, because if Magnus plays a mouse slip on move like 5 and wins against me, what does that say about our dynamic? So I think Hikaru is very concentrated. He's not talking as much as he usually does, because now he's realized this is important. I can't not win this.
Yeah, it's like the previous game with Torstein Ba. He has such a clear advantage, and so he probably doesn't. He's afraid of messing up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes having something to protect is a kind of mixed blessing. And Hikaru, it's definitely gone away from him this game. Magnus is putting some serious pressure in the center. Hikaru goes the other way, and for the first time since the mouse slip, Magnus Carlsen is better. He has the advantage. How does he protect this pawn, though? That is the key. The other pawn is maybe less relevant at the edge of the board for now. And Hikaru, he played a very clever move here. I don't think it's the best one. The eval bar says that, but it's the type of move that scares the opponent, which is often a great decision. Great practical skills there from Hikaru Nakamura. Magnus has slowed down.
Our viewers are saying that Magnus played this king to f1, this that we suspect is a mouse slip, out of spite. So that's an interesting take from our viewer there. And Magnus, he is advancing and headed towards the king of Nakamura and trying to create some attack there.
Yeah, he's hoping that Black maybe pushes the pawn forward to block it up, and then the Black rook is just trapped for the rest of the game. And also the Black king a bit airy now on the light squares. That does at least protect the central pawn. I was very surprised Magnus didn't go and grab it while he had the opportunity. But yeah, think of the memes, think of the content that would be made if Magnus mouse slips and still wins against Hikaru. Can he get the job done? There is a high level of jeopardy right now. Magnus needs to be quick before this pawn drops.
Or maybe that's not great.
It's not great, is what he's saying.
It's not great because he's hanging a pawn, and Hikaru probably should be brave and take it. All I can hear is Torstein Ba screaming at his own moves next door. Magnus has been very calm in the meantime. becoming mainstream king to F1. Not by choice for Magnus Carlsen, but it got better. Now it's getting worse again.
Ooh, and we can see that both of them have kind of stopped talking. They're going into like this state of just concentrating on the game. It means a lot to them. Magnus spending quite a bit of time now, and there are some trades being made. So we'll see where the game goes into this next phase now. It's headed towards some kind of end game.
Yeah, the players, they talk about getting in the flow, getting in that state of mind where you just see moves, you just feel them, you play them without even needing to consciously calculate. But that feels like Magnus, not for the first time, is struggling to get in that mindset against Hikaru. 1 minute down now, 1 pawn down, and things are getting serious. He takes a pawn back in the center. The problem is the white queen is caught in 2 minds. She wants to go and grab, but there was pressure against her bishop. The bishop moves out the way. The endgame you predicted is going to come to pass, but Hikaru is going to start from a position of strength, 1 pawn up. It feels like Magnus only fighting for a draw, fighting for survival.
Oh, and a draw would be good for Hikaru. That means that he would maintain his lead at least against Magnus. And yeah, Magnus probably disappointed with the outcome of this game, no matter what here.
Yeah, still 1 pawn down. It's now 3 versus 1 on that left side of the board in terms of pawns. Magnus, though, hasn't active rook here, and potential for his own pawn to become quite strong. Hikaru, though, so quick, defending everything. What do we predict? Time scramble, or is this going to be decided on the board?
Oh, I think Hikaru is not going to let this opportunity pass. What do you think, Aslak?
No, I think this looks bad for Norway. But it looks good for Bad Axe 99, who's cheering for Hikaru. So that's good for...
Godly play.
G-Bong as well, supporting the Bong Cloud. Oh, the white king. It's moved a lot this game, but where's it going next? Is it going to go forward? No, it goes back. Magnus massively better for Hikaru. I'm expecting Hikaru at some point to sort out his king, get that out of the way, and it's the black pawns that are going to start moving. Knight trade, though, not really what Hikaru wants, since the pawn behind it would be dropping. And okay, will he now offer a trade of bishops, Hikaru? He needs to defend this pawn now before it's too late. Will he give a check with his rook, or will he drop his bishop back? There we go. Good move. Hikaru's playing safety first chess, and it's working massively better now. He's going to get a 3rd pawn. And even if the black bishop gives itself up when the white pawn gets to the end of the board, black's 3 pawns are going to be so strong marching forward.
Is Magnus saying anything at all now?
I just don't have any. Guess he's consolidating. It's annoying.
And annoyed and kind of, yeah, he's a bit disappointed right now, Magnus.
Yeah, almost resigned. It feels like that tone in his voice. He knows he's reliant purely on tricks right now. He's pushing his pawn forward, but that pawn is not long for this world. The black king is now attacking it. The promotion square is covered. And not just that, but the black rook is going to come behind now and win that pawn. It's just game over. 3 extra pawns for Hikaru Nakamura. Magnus resigns. That could be
flip on move 4, but
defining.
I had chances after that.
He admits there was a mouse slip on move 4, but I had some chances after that. But clearly disappointed and annoyed Magnus. And Hikaru now at 7 points after 7 rounds. A perfect score so far. And let's take a look at another one of the top contenders in this field, Jeffrey Zhang, who managed to get a draw against Magnus in the previous round.
Yeah, and he faces Alexander Rachmanov, a very experienced grandmaster, a very positional player. Down a pawn currently. Black's pass pawn, very, very strong. And a queen trade probably would favor Jeffrey Zhang, therefore. Rachmanov gets the queen out of the way. Massively better, though, for black. The clock could be decisive, but also the board looking very good. That pawn is too strong, simply. Perfect strategy as well, backed up by a set of rooks, doubled rooks. And now the black queen is going to jump in. That's maximum pressure. Everything's so loose. The knight can be removed next move, and the rook will fall. Rachmanov knows his fate here. A queen trade won't help now because the white knight is just pinned and will be lost on the next move. He's going to resign. Jeffrey Zhang is going to be in the chasing pack just behind Hikaru Nakamura. The time runs out. He takes the win.
Wow. So Jeffrey Zhang, he's going to have 7.5 points, or 6.5 points, I mean. And we can see, look at Team USA. They are doing very well right now. They've got the top 3 spots. And it's going to be interesting to take a look at the country standings when we have those available. So I'm excited to see. Well, it wasn't that exciting actually, but Team USA doing very well, Team Germany as well, and Poland in third place. I mean, I can't remember the last time I saw this kind of domination from one country. And Hikaru, Jeffrey Zhang, and Hans Niemann, those are the top 3 spots right now, and they're the only ones with those points.
Yeah, I mean, Caruana just lost a game. We see him towards the bottom. We see him just there. Oh, then it changed. But yeah, the top 3 representing. And Poland doing very well. Poland with players in 5th and 6th place. But it's the all-American battle. Someone's going to be dropping points. It's Hikaru Nakamura against Hans Niemann, the battle of the HNs.
Wow. And that's going to be very exciting. It's not the matchup you wanted, Aslak, but this could be fun too.
Yeah, I mean, Hikaru is on his way to doing the 11 out of 11 now.
Yeah.
He is our hope. So I'm starting to root a bit for him as well. He's a cool guy. I like him.
And in the meantime, it's an opening that's very rare at the top of World Chess. It's kind of a hybrid between the Trompovsky here and the Jabava London system. There is a name for it, which escapes me right now. But Hikaru bringing his bishop out. He's going for the same strategy. Okay, he didn't take the knight while he could, but it's what he showed earlier against Alexander Bortnik. Just very slow, very calm, very positional. He's going to try and bore Hans Niemann to death.
And is he managing? When we take a look at Niemann's expression, what do you read from that, Aslak?
Yeah, that's a bored man. That's his poison. Wow, they really figured out how to beat Niemann. He's just afraid of being bored.
And Magnus did the same thing last week, yeah?
Exactly. If you take the tactics out, Hans Niemann at least will not be able to checkmate you. He did just checkmate Vincent Keimer, Hans Niemann, in the previous round. So I think Hikaru knows. As long as he keeps his king safe, trades off some pieces, makes it very slow strategic, then he might be the favorite against Hans. Hans is going to try and spice things up and get the action, get the energy going, even if he doesn't look super thrilled right now.
And he needs this win because if he wants to catch up to Hikaru, Hikaru leads by half a point. This could be Niemann's chance to lead Title Tuesday. And he has won it before, one time earlier this split, but he still needs some points in the Champions Chess Tour standings. So this would be an important win for Niemann today. Yeah. And Hikaru, as you said earlier, David, he's probably already qualified through the Speed Chess Championship. So he doesn't have the same amount of pressure to do well in Title Tuesday.
Exactly. And sometimes it's nice not having that pressure. You can relax and just feel in that flow. Hikaru may be feeling the pressure of getting back over 3,400. We see his rating. It's dipped somehow below 3,400, despite being on 100% in this tournament so far. Now this looks like the most level position I've ever seen. Totally symmetrical pawn structure. Hikaru really is going down the snore, bore tactics. He's trying to get the queens off as well. And blunder from Hans Niemann. We do see rook takes knight now is available due to a pin. The black pieces are all lined up for the white bishop, the white rook. Wow.
I thought that Hikaru had this face for a long time, but it's just that his camera's frozen.
Oh, yeah.
But it's very suitable that he is frozen in this moment. We can see that he was realizing there's something weird going on here, and he does find the good move, and now he's suddenly winning.
He's suddenly winning. He has a huge advantage of bishop and knight for just one black rook. Still some hard work to be done. The rook is almost worth as much as those pieces, but now this white knight retreating has caught the black rook behind enemy lines. It's trapped. It's in no man's land. The other white knight might just come and win it in the near future. Maybe it will come forward and just win this piece. Hikaru, he has 2 pieces for a rook. That's a 1-point advantage, but it could become so much more starting with this move.
What a masterclass in really figuring out your opponent and being like, I need to bore him to death so he'll make some quick moves, and bam! Then Hikaru turns on his tactics and is now in a winning endgame.
Yeah, that rook is so trapped. Look at the white knights. They've created the perfect cage. And eventually black's rook will have to give itself up for the bishop or the knight. And okay, he finds a way to get it out maybe, Hans Niemann. If the white king now moves towards the rook will give itself up for this bishop, and then the knight in the center will drop. And Hikaru will not be satisfied with those exchanges. So maybe the white knight will move, but still looking very, very good for Hikaru. The knights are jumping. And yeah, it feels like the top players have sussed out Hans slightly. He's had a tough year. Didn't make it to the Esports World Cup final stages. Didn't make it very far in the World Cup at all. Lost in the second round. It's been tough. Everyone's trying to bore Hans in these slow positions, and it's working. I mean,
Poor guy.
Poor guy, exactly. He's not allowed to show the fire he's capable of. Must be so frustrating. And now the White King has come to evict the rook. It does escape. Now Hikaru will try and stop the rook checking. Retreats his knight, but okay, letting slip of the advantage. Hikaru, 11 out of 11, just after Magnus does it. That would be insane.
And while beating Magnus and potentially also Hans, that's going to be cinema, according to one of our viewers. And I have to agree. I mean, what a way to come back to Title Tuesday after last week's disappointment for Hikaru. And then to be able to turn it around. Yeah, it could be very exciting to see if he wins this one as well. Then he's going to really start thinking about this possibility. 11 out of 11.
Exactly. And yeah, big goals for Hikaru. He wants to be world champion, of course. That's for next year. But short-term goal, 11 out of 11. That's how rivalries work, I feel. When I was growing up, like I would hit a milestone. I would become an international master. My biggest rival, like 1 week later, he would become an international master. Then I'd make grandmaster. 1 week later, he'd become grandmaster.
Who is this rival? Can I hear?
No comment.
Okay.
Oh.
Gawain Jones,
Okay.
English grandmaster. But yeah, I think it's the same between Magnus and Hikaru, especially in events like Title Tuesday. They spur each other on.
You got 11 out of 11. Now I want to manage that.
Exactly.
You just beat Hans, or I want to beat Hans. Magnus winning in the same way last week, where he also played like a very long and solid game and then won towards the end. But here, Hikaru, 2 minutes left approximately on both of their clocks, seems to have complete control of this game.
He does, but he did shake his head a little bit. And now trying to trade off. It feels like he hasn't found the best win. He's trying to do it the slow and steady way. Sometimes you lose a bit of momentum, though, and confidence if you can't get the job done when you know you're winning for so long.
So he has lost rating during this tournament, right?
Hikaru, no, I think he's gained, but he lost rating since earlier today.
Oh, okay.
He created a new record on Chess.com recently.
Yeah, I heard that. What was it? 3,400 and something.
And a lot, yeah. So, yeah, the record's not standing for now. He's let the black rook in, shaking his head, but he's still in control. The white knight will drop back now to defend its pawn. That's a very key move for Hikaru Nakamura. And then his bishop will drop back to try and kick the rook out.
But he's shaking his head a lot now. Does he feel like he's lost control?
Yeah, he must do. He's trying to calculate what happens if the knight drops back and then the pawn comes across, steps forward to hit the bishop right now. The bishop and knight kind of, they're hanging together, defending each other, but it's a bit shaky.
Yeah, and we can tell by Hikaru's body language that he is a little bit upset with himself. He understands that he was winning more clearly earlier in the game, and now he's kind of struggling to just put his pieces in defensive positions and try to not lose anything.
Full retreat mode. He's turned on reverse gear here. The white bishop on a horrible square. But that is a bit of a slip up from Hans Niemann, apparently. To my eyes, it's getting better for black. It's better than it's ever been. But the eval bar says it's totally winning now for white. Probably because the white bishop is going to get out. There we go. And it's going to come back and sit on a nice outpost in the center where it's going to start attacking the weak black pawns. You want to attack the base of the pawn chain. This is, again, a slow grind, but this is the way they play against Hans Niemann nowadays. Slow and steady. Get that endgame going. And now the two pieces team up. That's why two pieces are better than one. Two attackers, only one defender of that pawn.
And they're both now soon down to less than a minute, so anything can happen. But it looks like Hikaru is going to win a pawn, and that should be enough. Then he has something to kind of play for. He's going to win a second pawn, and then he's going to have two passed pawns that are connected on the side of the board. It doesn't get better than this.
Yeah, Hans leans back. He knows he's toast. And 55 seconds, more than enough. He resigns.
8 out of 8.
Hikaru. Wow, he's on fire.
Hikaru is on fire, beating both Magnus and Hans 2 games in a row. Who is the next opponent for him? Is anybody even close to catching up? Is Hikaru leading by an entire point? That'll be exciting to see when we get the standings. Let's hear what Hikaru says.
Okay, another win. There we go.
Quick conclusion there.
Factually true.
Okay, let's go. So it doesn't seem that he is too aware of the fact that he is leading the tournament, that he does have the 8 out of 8 points. Seems like now he's probably going through the game, looking at different moments where he could have done something better. Even when you're leading, it's normal to go through these games. And now after round 8, the players have a bit of a pause. So we will also get ready to go through the next rounds.
Here we go.
All right, and we see there are still some games that are ongoing, but when we do see the standings here, we see that Hikaru is alone 8 points in front of Maxim Vachier-Lagarde and Fedoseev, who actually Magnus beat. So this is a quite surprising standings, I would say.
That's right, very surprising. And I think the most surprising thing is that nobody's been able to really get close to Hikaru. He's been so dominant in every game. Yeah, it just feels like he's on fire and nobody else is quite at their best. Catching him is going to be very hard. It's going to be MVL or Fedoseev, but I think Hikaru is the big favorite now.
What do you think, Aslak? Do you think Hikaru can do it? Can he win all the games in this tournament?
Yeah, as you said, this is his year. This is his time. Third time's the charm. I don't know if this is his third time here, but yeah, this is just the foreshadowing of what's to come for Hikaru.
Absolutely. And we get some comments from our viewers that last week Hikaru didn't care, but this week he cares. You know, he's very famous for saying like, oh, whatever, I don't care. It's no big deal. But you could tell that he was getting a little bit excited in the game against Magnus, that he was like, ooh, I've got some chances here.
Exactly. I think all top chess players are in denial. Like, we pretend we don't care, but if we lose, then we're throwing mouses, we're like trashing hotel rooms. I don't know. It's, yeah, there's a lot on the line. I think just it's that mentality as well, to keep your confidence and to stay at the top of any field. You need to believe that you're at your best week in, week out. So can he do it? Hikaru Nakamura, I think the only question now is whether he cares more about 11 out of 11 or tournament victory. Because he probably could take a draw, maintain his 1-point lead, and play it a bit safe. But if he wants perfection, then he might take more risks.
And let's take a look at one of the best moments of the day. Hikaru versus Magnus, at least seen with American eyes.
Exactly. Team America, it's a good week for them. And this is how Hikaru closed it out towards the end. Already 1 pawn up. He won a second pawn. It's now 3 versus 0 on the left side of the board. And White's 1 remaining foot soldier easily blockaded. Hikaru just never looked worried at all. So calm, so confident. Not many people beat Magnus in an endgame, but Hikaru did.
And Magnus, I wonder what this does to his motivation as well. But he did win his following game. But Magnus, obviously a little bit disappointed, won against Dmitry Kolars, who is also a very good player. And let's take a look now at the country standings, now that some of the American players have at least fallen from the podium. And we still have the US, closely followed by Team Germany, who has many good players.
Yeah, they have Vincent Keimer, they have Dmitry Kolars, Matthias Blubaum, candidate, all up there in the top 15, 20 places right now. Team Iran, all of them are just teenagers. It's scary. They're going to be dominating in a few years, but for now, still the US on top.
And we have Team Norway in 18th place. How has Torstein been doing since we last checked on him? We've been hearing some screams from the other room because we're sitting right next door to him. He's playing from the Dave Cave, which is what that office is called, because that's where David is usually streaming. So Torstein's sitting in the Dave Cave, and he's screaming quite a bit. Have you checked, David, how Torstein's doing?
I have. Just after we watched his previous game where he lost on time, he lost another game on time in a good position. And his most recent round, though, he did win by checkmate against a strong FM from Iran, a youngster. So, yeah, he's back on winning track and he's back in winning ways.
He just wanted 1 strong victory. So maybe that's the strong victory he wanted.
Yeah, he's drawn against a GM. He's beaten an FM now. He's had some decent results. But
and how many points is he at right now?
I will need to check.
But anyways, I feel like Torstein, he hadn't played in this Title Tuesday before, and I was telling him that the first time I participated, I wasn't sure that I would win any games, and that's because this is an incredibly strong field. I mean, you have all of the top grandmasters and international masters competing, 400 players. Aslak, do you think you would win any games here?
No, not at all.
You've beaten me once.
I did beat you once. Yes,
Yeah.
I did, and I was very pleased about it.
So maybe you would beat me if I was there.
If you were participating, yeah. No, my rating is, I think I have 16 or 1700 FIDE, which is far below, I think, the bottom floor here. But I would love to participate. I don't mind losing at all. I think it's no problem.
And what I was hoping when I was playing was that I would get to play one of the top players, but I wasn't very realistic in that expectation because to meet the top players, you have to do really well. So I was like, maybe in the first round, if I'm lucky, I'll get drawn against one of them. But then no, I just lost so many games in a row, and I was like, I'm never getting to play Hikaru or Magnus. But I think a lot of players, that's one of the reasons that they kind of sign up, even if they know they're not going to win. It's very rare that you get to play against the best players in the world. In the sport. For sure, yeah, and it's a real possibility. How did you do when you participated? I got 4 points, I think, but one of them was from a walkover and one where my opponent disconnected.
Those still count.
Yeah, they count.
I'm taking every point I could get, but yeah, when I got that first win, I also lost a couple of games on time where I was doing pretty well, which is a very frustrating feeling. But when I got that first win, I was like, okay. And then the other very difficult thing is that towards the end of the tournament, a lot of the players who are not doing so well, they'll just log off and say, I'm done for the day. So then there's nobody left for me to kind of, down there in the dumps, there's nobody to play. Have you played, you've played some Title Tuesday, not now while you've been commentating, but before?
Before, years ago. I managed to win it once when Hikaru, Magnus, all the other guys weren't playing. So that's before the influx of the world elite. But those were the glory days. Not anymore. They're all too quick and too young for me.
All right, well, let's get ready for round 9, 10, and 11. It's starting to heat up.
Simon's face tells the whole story because the Black Queen defends her rook. And when the Black King slides across, everything's safe, everything's covered, 2-pawn advantage. This is going to be hopeless for Krzyzanowski. No. This is ruthless from Firouzja. This is cynical stuff.
And he loses.
Ooh, not many pieces on this board. He's pushing forward. He's kicked away the Black Queen. That's why he's suddenly much, much better. It's 7 seconds versus 4 seconds. It's going to be a pure flagging battle. White is in stalemate, but White is threatened with checkmate now. He needs to take the rooks off the board. He needs to get the rooks off. There we go. Faustino, does he have enough time to win now? He's going to move his king forever. And it's a draw by stalemate.
Wow, so it's been a pretty crazy day. We've seen these time scrambles, and now there's only 3 rounds left, and we just got the pairings for the third to last round. It's Hikaru versus Fedoseev, and that is the game that we will be following. David, what do you think about this?
Oh, I think it's just a question of whether Hikaru can get 100%. Fedoseev's a very, very strong player. He was knocked out at the World Cup just a few days back last week, and I would say that Fedoseev, he's either a genius, or he is capable of a few moments of madness. With White, he has lost some painful games, but he's also won some brilliant games against the likes of Magnus and Hikaru. It's very hit or miss type of chess. So I think for Hikaru, if he wants to win everything, then that is a good pairing. And in the meantime, there was a trick in that position if the White Knight had taken a pawn. If it takes it now, the Black Queen comes out, and there would have been a fork, a check, winning that piece. So Hikaru playing a bit of a risky variation of the Berlin defense. He will survive this opening. Now probably he'll capture this pawn in the center, maybe even bring his bishop out if he's feeling adventurous. And there we see Fedoseev appear. Not an easy game, but it's going to be a proper fight, this one.
Did you ever find the name of the really rare opening you were talking about earlier?
I will get on that now.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
But we see here that Hikaru's rating is now 3,404, and the viewers are taking note. It's a crazy rating.
Yeah, and just as I was about to Google it, I realized what it was called. It was called the Veresov opening, which is named after an old master from many years ago. But it's so rare nowadays that I'll pretend it's acceptable to forget that one.
It sure is.
And in the meantime, Hikaru brings his bishop out. And here we see some exchanges. Winning a pawn, Fedoseev, but after a recapture, there is the possibility in the near future for Black to take this pawn in the center due to a pin along this diagonal. Hikaru, though, he might just try and get castled. He normally hates early tension. He wants to do what he did to Hans Niemann, take it to a long game, win in the end game. He hates being confronted in the opening. Big moment. It looks like Hikaru may be in a bit of trouble. Maybe he missed this one. Now pressure against this square as well.
Ooh, and Fedoseev really needs to win this game. He has 7 points. Hikaru has 8. If Fedoseev has a dream of winning a title Tuesday in this split, he needs to start racking up some points. He was also one of the in contention to play the Esports World Cup, but he had to back out kind of right before the qualifier.
Exactly. He actually qualified for the main event, and he had to withdraw, so someone else got a last-minute kind of replacement into the event, and that meant that he lost the minimum of $50,000. Like, if you come last in the Esports World Cup, it's $50,000, and he had to walk away from that. That's heartbreaking.
That is really heartbreaking. So no wonder that he's really set on qualifying himself this year. But to do that, it would be very good for him if he was able to catch up to Hikaru, who leads the tournament by a point right now. And Fedoseev, with the white pieces, has chosen a kind of risky opening, but both of them have spent a lot of time right now.
Yeah, why is this good for white? Why can't he? What am I not seeing? Can't he just take and what's the trap here?
Yeah, there's one trap. If everything gets captured on this square, then at the very end, white's queen will come out, not only threaten the piece that lands here, but also threaten a sneaky checkmate with its bishop. A bit of teamwork. So after the pawn recaptures the bishop, which I'm assuming is going to be played, not the only move, maybe white can already go for checkmate. It does feel like this black knight in the center of the board will lack support. And yeah, black's king, just the fact that it hasn't castled one move away is a bit of a tough thing for Hikaru, but he does get the king castled, and now it's a question of whether this knight could be trapped in the center. It doesn't have many retreat squares, only really one. So maybe Hikaru will try, Fedoseev here will try to centralize his queen. Commentator's curse, I say it, it's not the best move. Of course, the eval bar though is still saying much, much better for Fedoseev. Are we going to see en passant? Are we going to see it?
We're going to see an annoyed Hikaru, but yes, we do see another en passant, but we haven't seen it in a couple of games now, so I think that streak was lost on us. But Hikaru, that streak is still the hope.
Yeah, and the reason Hikaru was so upset a moment ago is because if he had dropped back and taken this pawn with his knight, white would have simply stepped across with the rook, and there would have been a deadly pin in the center. He would have been losing a piece. So I'm expecting that type of move now from Fedoseev, or he might support his pawn with his bishop. He's a clear pawn up, and it's a dangerous d-pawn in the center as well.
I want to hear what Hikaru is saying. He looks pretty upset. Well, he at least was shaking his head. But it looks like Fedoseev has a lot of pressure right now. He's getting all of his pieces developed. He has a pawn very far into Hikaru's position. Things are going very well for him, and he also has a bit of a time advantage.
Looking good. Can Fedoseev finish it off? He's normally great when he gets the advantage, Fedoseev. He normally takes big risks in the opening, and if it works out, then he's a very cool converter of those advantages. So we'll see. Bishop's extra pawn.
Is the 11 out of 11 dream still alive here, or is he just fighting to draw?
Feels like if this was a normal game, fighting to draw. But strange things happen in Title Tuesday. When Magnus got 11 out of 11, he was dead lost against Faruja.
Yeah.
So he managed to fight back. Never give up hope. If it comes down to a flagging battle, Hikaru, I think, will be the favorite. So we'll see. Rook takes rook, and another pawn drops. The white queen goes hunting. 2 pawn advantage. Okay, back to 1 pawn advantage for Fedoseev.
And Hikaru does have this Chess.com Blitz rating record that he managed to get 5 days ago, 3,438. And he's not that far away from that this time after a really good result so far, winning against Magnus. That certainly gets you some rating points. But it's hard to maintain that level over time because everyone is lower rated than you.
Exactly. Even if you were to play the likes of me, Hikaru, he would need to beat me like 9.5 out of 10 just to keep his rating, not even to gain.
Oh.
And
what is your rating, David?
Oh, I keep it around 3,000.
I keep it there. I maintain it right there. Yeah.
I struggle. It's dropping by the year, but if I ever drop below, then I'll stay up all night to try and get it back, and then I stop for 2 weeks. Okay. In the meantime, Hikaru has stabilized on the light squares here. It's opposite color bishops, so there's some chance of survival. Hans Niemann, though, has not survived his game, as we see in the at the top of our screens there. I think if he just got 2 moves, Hikaru, if he could bring his bishop back and kind of plant it on this square, there's no safe route to do that. But if he could block, then he would have been fine. But now white's rook gets active, and that spells danger. The white rook now can come up to the 7th rank and support its pawn's coronation, the run through to glory. White king's so safe.
Ooh. And with opposite colored bishops, you often want to attack, but there isn't any weaknesses.
White's king's so safe now. Black's king, okay for now, but it's the 2-pawn advantage. The A pawn is going to be a decoy for later. Watch out though, there is one threat. Queen takes pawn due to a pin. Fedoseev might see that one. He'll probably also see this one. Queen takes pawn. That's a sneaky idea. Threatening checkmate in 2 moves. Hikaru.
He hasn't given up.
He hasn't given up.
No, I like this. Come on.
He's blundered checkmate! Oh my gosh, Fedoseev has blundered checkmate in 2 moves.
What? Whoa, that's crazy. And Hikaru, he still has the perfect score.
The dream is still alive. He moves to 9 out of 9. We said it. Something is in the air tonight. Tidal Tuesday. The queen supported by her bishop. The queen coming in to deliver mate next move. Out of nowhere, Hikaru from lost to winning.
That is amazing. Yes. Oh, the dream is alive. 9 out of 9 so far. He just needs 2 more wins. And does that count as a semi back-to-back?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, of course. And it's only happened, was it 8 times in history now? So, I mean, in 11 years, I mean, this is very rare. And to see that 2 times in a row, we're jumping into Magnus's game here against Vincent Kramer, who are both in the chasing group, 6.5 points each. Magnus down to a minute, Kramer only 30 seconds. But Magnus has a queen, but this is weird.
Yeah, this is weird. Black's pieces are very stable, which is normally a good sign, but white does have 2 passed pawns. They call them the trousers, the trouser legs, one trouser leg on this side of the board, the other trouser leg on the other side, and together they should get the job done. Black's king is going to try and stop one, Black's rook and bishop stopping the other. If Magnus can get one of those pawns motoring forward, it should win him the game. But still some hard work to be done. Maybe the clock is going to be Vincent's real downfall. Hikaru with 9 lives today. That's right, 9 out of 9. He's used up 9 lives. Does he have enough left in the tank? Magnus now surely getting it done. That's a check. Resignation from Vincent Kramer. It was about to be checkmate with the queen and the pawn.
Wow, so Magnus, he is still fighting, but he only is at 7.5 compared to Hikaru, which is 1.5 point more in the lead. So really impressive by him today. And Hikaru, he's been beginning to kind of run out of opponents to face in the top. He's played against so many of them. So it will be very exciting to see who he's going to be facing in these next rounds. And yeah.
Can you not duplicate? Can you not meet the same opponent twice? Oh, you can never.
Oh, and talking of next opponent, one of these 2, if they win, will probably face Hikaru Nakamura. Bortnik, though, down at 2 seconds. It's a good endgame for white, but not a winning one. And pawn up now. Oh, back to level material. It's a dead draw on the position, but the clock.
Oh, goodness.
That check was so decisive. Bortnik just needed to take the white pawn, and it would have been a draw. White will not have enough checkmating material left, but Bortnik, look at the heartbreak. He's laughing. Thought he was crying.
Yeah, I also thought he was crying, but
so close.
I mean, I'm happy that he's being able to laugh at the situation because that is very painful in the final moment. And when you get like an unexpected check like this and you've pre-moved something, but then you have to deal with the fact that your king is in check. So very impressive by Maxim Vachier-Lagrave. Very good at blitz and online blitz, of course. And he now is suddenly in 2nd place and is the only one who can catch up to Hikaru if he wins. And those 2 are facing off next.
Yeah, big game. A lot on the line. 100% still on the table. But MVL, if he wins, suddenly it opens up. Suddenly Magnus is in with a shout. Jeffrey Zhong, Duda, Svana, that pack on 7.5. It's only the top 6 players now who can really win this event. But Hikaru, of course, in the driver's seat. This is going to be so important. Hikaru playing the C3 Sicilian that has a very solid reputation. I played this against Maxime Vachier-Lagrave for the first time about 30 years ago. And
oh, we have an en passant.
We have en passant.
Yeah. Check it off on the bingo card.
There we go. We need bingo cards for Tidal Tuesday.
Yeah.
That's the next step for our audience at home. And another en passant.
One. Whoa.
They're like London buses. You wait all your life for one. 2 come along at the same time. Okay.
That's a great analogy.
Hikaru, is he going to defend this threat of wrecking his pawn structure. He keeps going into these positions when he can, like super dull, queens off early, bore the opponent to death. MVL likes his endgames too, though, so I'm not sure this strategy will work. We'll find out. Maybe we'll see. I was going to say the black king castling over. Hikaru now slightly better, according to the eval bar, but it does look like a very balanced position.
And I at first thought that both of the images were frozen, but no, Maxime, he is just so slightly moving his eyes. He's like very concentrated. He's taking this very seriously and trying to compete with Hikaru for a win in the Title Tuesday. Maxime, he hasn't won this year so far, and he would like a win in Title Tuesday as well and make himself more relevant in the fight for qualifying to the Esports World Cup.
Yeah, he's so good when he's on form. Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, of course, former World Blitz champion at the World Cup recently. He had a crazy Armageddon battle where he was so speedy and defeated a very, very strong opponent with so much time still on his clock. But this position is hard for black now. The problem is there's two threats. Bishop takes pawn is a big, big threat. That's probably the one you want to guard against, but also the white knight jumping in. This is a tender spot that's hard to defend. The black rooks will have to go very, very passive. And he doesn't go for that yet, Hikaru. Still on the table for next move. Maybe he's deciding which way to go with the white knight. This is a very pleasant position for him. This is Hikaru at his best. He knows exactly what he wants from a position, and black's pieces retreating. If he wins this game, Hikaru, it's much more deserved than his previous win. That is for sure. The knight going around now.
He looks a bit cramped, the black pieces. Poor fella.
Traffic jam. Rush hour. That is, yeah, not looking good at all for black's pieces. And now the knight is coming around with some sneaky ideas. Trying to trade off bishops. Does he dodge that bishop trade? Go attacking black's rook now. Hikaru with lots of tempting moves. That means he'll probably burn a bit of time on the clock.
Yeah, I mean, they've played really fast. We've ended up in this endgame and they barely spent a minute. This was quick.
Yeah. MVL once played, I think it was a 60-move game, and he ended up with like 10 minutes more on his clock when he started with, because he kept gaining on the increment. He didn't pause once, and it wasn't even preparation. He was just so confident.
Wow. I feel like that's also a part of it, like the psychology of playing against somebody who just plays their moves immediately and plays really fast. It's very uncomfortable because then you're like, oh, I'm making it so easy for my opponent. But both of these two are playing incredibly fast. They're keeping up with each other.
They really are. And Hikaru, it feels like maybe more pressure on him to actually create something. There we go. He tries to sacrifice a pawn to get his rook active. Now black has two isolated pawns. But Maxime suddenly turning the tables. He does get his rook active. And look at the black rook. It's done a lot of work in the last few moves. And blunder. Blunder. That was the most obvious move in the position, but he walked into a knight fork. Hikaru, it's just the stars aligning.
Yeah, but this is exactly how it happened for Magnus as well. And I was like, how relatable do you feel like it is that the top players in the world, even they make this kind of mistake?
Yeah, it's comforting.
Yeah.
Absolutely comforting. They are not gods. They are people like you and I, and they can do the same pathetic mistakes sometimes.
Hikaru got his speed sometimes, but okay, this is still not over. We do see black with a knight and a pawn. It's a very strong knight in return for the rook, but Hikaru is reminding Maxime that he has weaknesses on both sides of the board. The black bishop wants to, however, counterattack in the near future. I have a feeling Hikaru's plan will depend on him getting his rook active. It's just how to do that, whether he puts a rook behind a pawn and starts opening things up on this side. The white bishop sitting on an odd square now, and maybe it will continue sitting on odd squares just to try and hit those weird black pawns, that pawn mass on that right flank. But Hikaru, so far so good. Can he get it done?
They have a lot of time. This is the first time they have really been excessive on time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's normally Maxime Vachier-Lagrave. He dictates the pace whenever he plays. But Hikaru and Magnus, they both use clock as a weapon. That's why they're so good and consistent in this time format. We see some exchanges. Hikaru's happy with open lines because he has the long-range piece. The rook. What do we think? Surely this is not going to trip him up this game, Hikaru. Surely it's going to go down to round 11.
Yeah.
But I feel like it also depends on the fact if Hikaru is able to kind of keep one pawn on the right side of the board, because if that gets traded off in any way, then suddenly it becomes way harder to actually understand how to win this. So he needs to be a little bit mindful now in these next moves to keep that pawn existing. And he is spending some time now, like you're saying, Aslak. But they do... But he is trying to make some progress, and he is now trying to go after the bishop and perhaps the 2 pawns on the right side.
Mm-hmm. And your words are resonating. Aslak, GM blunders. Everyone feels like they can be a GM too now.
Yeah.
It's nice to see.
There's also something a bit comforting about seeing GMs playing other GMs, because then it seems they don't get to show their real strength.
Yeah.
You don't see how good they actually are, because they're not allowed to play at their strength.
Yeah, and also like in the first rounds, that's the only time when we really see like them really crushing somebody, and then it gets way more even. And even here, we're wondering, can Maxime make a comeback? Because it isn't obvious how Hikaru is supposed to make any progress here.
Yeah, everything's defended for black. Like the black pawns are defended by their minor pieces right now. The black bishop defends the base of the chain here. The black knight kind of keeping everything protected on the other flank. It will come down to whether Hikaru can move his bishop around. He's actually trading things off now. But if he can move his bishop around and win this black pawn, then probably he gets there. But whoops, that's a runaway pawn. You've got to keep half an eye on that one. The white bishop is covering its advance, though. Now he's going around with his king. He's freed up his king. He's going hunting with that piece now. And Maxime struggling. He needs to land a knight fork. Knights are so tricky, but the bishop will always dodge. And the knight can never go forward. The bishop dominates the knight now. It controls both of these 2 diagonals, meaning the knight cannot move. And there we go. Desperation from Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, who's cleared one side of the board. But exactly what Maud said here. The H-pawn is going to decide the game. He kept it alive.
He can still lose it in some way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still worried.
Yeah.
But he needs to be precise now to get that perfect score. Come on, Hikaru.
He's so close. It's always near the finishing line where you see the accidents happen, right? Like, ooh, you don't blunder a knight fork. That's a good idea. Keep the king on a light square, the rook on a dark square. They cannot be forked by a knight. That is the rule in quick chess when you're trying to be speedy. Keep them as far away from each other as possible. How to advance the pawn. 48 seconds.
What do you think, Aslak? Would you manage this?
No, not at all. No.
I think you would. I think you'd have a good chance.
Yeah.
Is this easily winnable for white?
Yeah, I think as long as you keep the rook far away from the knight, it should be easily winnable.
I don't think I would lose this.
No.
Winning is the more difficult part.
Yeah, but it is a little bit difficult now that Maxime has gotten his king kind of in the way of the pawn, and he's got all of his pieces very close together.
Yeah, and how to advance. The king steps forward. That's a check. The king sidesteps. The black knight is running out of squares, and it might find itself trapped. I think this is game over. If the black knight moves away, then the white rook steps up with a check, drives the black king away from the defense, and there's no way to defend it. We'll see now. Everything happens. It's not going to be stalemate. Maxime Vachier-Lagrave resigns Hikaru on 10 out of 10.
Wow. Hikaru, he can follow what Magnus did last week and get the perfect score. And let's see how Magnus is doing right now. It's a very even position. Only 30 seconds left for both of the players. That seems very chaotic.
Oof. Magnus dropping back his king. He has a knight. Black has 3 pawns in return, so it's technically level material. But whose king is weaker? The black king isn't safe. White's king not safe. And oh, Magnus has blundered.
Not winning his queen. Oh,
Magnus, he thought he was unleashing an attack, but the queen was defended.
Get my shit together.
They are human.
Yeah, they are. Even him.
Oh no, there's no more checks.
Okay, good game.
Oh, wow. Look at Svan's reaction.
That's wild.
Wow.
I mean, none of this works. So here.
Look how much it means to Svan as well.
Yeah.
Let's say here.
Oh Mann, was ist das denn heute? Ne, Jeffrey spielt gegen Hikaru. Oh mein Gott.
How's your German, guys?
Well, he's saying, oh my god.
Yeah. Wow. what a week it's been, what a couple of weeks it's been for the Svana brothers. His brother, Frederick Svana, beat Gukesh, the world champion, knocked him out of the World Cup. Now, Rasmus Svana defeats the world number 1, Magnus. And he jumps up to joint second place. That means we have it confirmed. Hikaru's won the tournament.
Wow.
He's 1.5 points clear, but there's still one big challenge ahead.
And that is the perfect score, 11 out of 11. Can he manage to do the same that Magnus did last week? He's playing against Jeffrey Zhang, who here fittingly...
That's the worst cam in this tournament so far.
We'll call him the Shadow.
Yeah.
The shadow that lurks over Hikaru's 11 out of 11.
Oh.
As we see the Sicilian defense. This is Hikaru going for it. He never plays the Sicilian unless he wants to win. So he knows. There's nothing to lose here for Hikaru Nakamura. 11 out of 11.
Do we believe?
I think so.
I believe. The stars are aligning again.
I mean, the luck on Hikaru's side, like Hans Niemann blundered in a dead drawn position or in dead level position, and Bortnik blundered against him. Yeah, Hikaru, who was it? Fedoseev blundered from winning to losing against him. It just feels written.
Yeah.
It feels like it's in the stars.
What is Hikaru's rating now? It's 3,413. So he's on the way for a new record as well.
Yeah, lucky 13. Oh,
Yeah.
We'll see. White has 2 pawns in the center. This is a beautiful position for Jeffrey Zhang, but Hikaru in return has the long-term potential of the bishops. Black's bishops don't look like much, but if the position ever opens, there's 2 of those, only 1 counterpart, only 1 white bishop. So Hikaru taking big risks to try and get that perfect score. It's been a long, long time since Hikaru's done that. Got 11 out of 11. And yeah, I think tournament victory is the main thing for him, but surely now it's on his mind.
It has happened 8 times in total, and 4 of them are Magnus.
Yes.
Who are the other 4?
Yeah, I believe Hikaru was responsible for 2 of those.
Oh.
So Hikaru's done it twice in the past, but it's been a while back. And Jose Martinez was one of the others. Liam Lei, I believe the Vietnamese Grandmaster, was the final member of the quartet who've won 8 perfect scores between them.
And that was also before they redid the format to be no extra time. So it's easier to win more games when you can kind of depend on that final little second that you get. But after they've redone the format, it's only Magnus. And it would be amazing if we had 2 times in a row. And what do you think so far, David? Is this promising?
I want to be optimistic, but no, I don't see Hikaru being happy. He shakes his head as well. It's almost a symmetrical pawn structure, which means winning is going to be hard. But also, white is the one with active pieces. This active rook is hitting some pawns. Right now, you need to move your bishop out the way or defend it. But the bishop does hit this pawn. The rook hits this one. Hikaru is going to be a pawn down, wanting to win. But stranger things have happened already this tournament. Bigger comebacks. Does he have one last life left, Hikaru Nakamura, to get the job done?
Yeah, it's in the stars. It has to happen.
It feels that way, but Jeffrey, is he going to play the role of spoiler? It'll be good news for the Team US, at least if Jeffrey wins, because then he'll be higher up on the scoreboard. But there we go, Hikaru dropping a pawn. He chose to drop his central pawn rather than the flank pawns. These 2 are very, very strong, potentially long-term. Big pressure from the black bishop across the board as well. So some compensation, but shouldn't be enough. Jeffrey just needs to retreat his bishop in this direction, or maybe just take 1 slide back, and should be the favorite. Instead, going active with his queen, not the best move. He does hit the black knight, however. He's playing safety first chess there, but maybe Jeffrey taking his eye off this pawn in some of the complications that lie ahead. Queen takes the center pawn now. Hikaru's back alive, and wow, tactics in the air. Don't take the rook. You cannot touch it, as the white knight would come forward and fork the black king and queen. A royal fork there. That would be decisive. Hikaru, he was relying on giving a queen check, getting his queen out of the way so he could take this rook. But if that happens, the white queen will then have access to the center. It will hit the black king and the black rook in the corner. Lots of arrows here, I know, but it is a complicated variation. And it is all about geometry right now from Jeffrey Zhang.
And that's probably what Hikaru's screen also looks like when he's streaming this, because he's always drawing arrows all over the board. He's really illustrating what he thinks. And even when he's playing, like, I can kind of see it in his eyes that he's like doing all these clicks and drawing all these arrows. and illustrating to his viewers what he's thinking.
Yeah, and big moment. Jeffrey could have actually taken another pawn. He could have taken this pawn off the board because it was hitting Black's rook. But okay, he's happy with the gains he made. He's still 1 pawn to the good. We see a trade. And now Queen and Knight versus Queen and Bishop. Queen and Knight have a great reputation. They're a great attacking combo since the Knight is the only piece that does a job that the Queen cannot. They move in different ways. The Bishop and Queen tend to kind of step on each other's toes. Back to 1 pawn advantage, Jeffrey. Hikaru doesn't look optimistic anymore.
But doesn't Zhang know that he's ruining the 11 out of 11 right now?
Yeah, so selfish, trying to win a game of chess. How dare you? No, Jeffrey is a fantastic player. The bishop drops back. It's going to be hard to win for White. That's one thing I will say. Like, White doesn't have any passed pawns. And the longer the game goes on, maybe Jeffrey will get frustrated. Maybe he'll drop low on time. We might see some blunders. Hikaru needs to increase the speed, though. He cannot trade the queens.
And Jeffrey has so much time to do it in, because at least often when you've lost all other hope, you can look to the clock and be like, at least that's something. But here, with a minute extra on the clock, I feel like Hikaru can't really depend on that to be helpful for him.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. He's even trying to repeat the position now. He's saying to Jeffrey that I'm pinning your knight, and if you step back with your king, I'm going to keep checking you. Can Jeffrey Zhang make progress here? 11 out of 11 isn't the same on the 18th of November as it was on the 11th of November last week, but it still would be satisfying. Hikaru just playing the waiting game. Neither side doing much right now. Feels like they're just waiting for the clocks to drop before they actually try and do something. But there we go. Hikaru getting nervous about the clock has made a big slip. And now there's only one winning move for White, and that is to bring the queen back. That is very difficult, to give up the queen for free just to break the pin, and Hikaru's back in it. It was missed by Jeffrey. That would have landed a nasty knight fork.
He's back in the game.
He's still alive. How many times have we said that today?
The stars are still aligning.
And the time disadvantage, it was 1 minute just a few moves ago. Now it's only, what, 15, 20 seconds. Jeffrey's getting nervous. He's giving some checks. No, don't take the draw. He can bail out Jeffrey Zhang. He plays for the win. No! There we go. It's a draw by reputation. Repetition. Hikaru.
I mean, I got a lost position pretty early. I tried, but I played some garbage to try and create a game. Not good enough. I shouldn't be upset. I mean, 10.5 is a good score, but yeah.
Yeah, Hikaru's a little bit disappointed. He's like, he's not even saying, I won the tournament, hooray. He's just saying like, 10.5. That is like the most annoying score you could possibly have in this tournament.
Yeah, so close, so close. I think all the fans as well disappointed at home and not to see the perfect week for the second time in a row. But he did try. He said it there. He tried everything he could. He rode his luck. He took risks. But ultimately, Jeffrey too solid.
And that means, we still have some games going on, and let's follow Torstein's final game. Torstein has 3.5 points. He has less than a minute on the clock. And what do you think of his position, David?
Wow, this is a cool position. He's a queen down, but he trapped his opponent's queen, and therefore White had to give the queen back. If we do a quick count, it's rook for bishop right now. White has an extra pawn, but the rook for bishop advantage should be decisive with so many open lines for the rooks. Torstein is correctly trading off the knights now. He just needs to simplify. It's a maths equation. Trade, trade, trade. Use your rook to win the pawns. I think he's going to end this with a win, but I'm just a bit nervous about the clock.
Yeah, he's short on time already. That's his huge weakness, it seems.
His biggest nemesis. But all the black rooks have got in. Now just trade off the rooks. Then you don't need to worry anymore about the clock. Oh, just keep it safe. Trade off the rooks.
Torstein!
Move.
Make your moves!
Trade.
You're stressing me.
Swap either rook. There we go. Ooh, sigh of relief. That keeps things simple. And now his opponent only has a dark squared bishop, so he can move on light squares. Move the king on light squares. Take those pawns. He is winning. Totally winning now. Move the king across.
Has Torstein learned anything about time management today?
This is his big exam.
This is his first time.
Oh, he took a bit of a risk there, but he is getting that white pawn. He's gone down to a winning king and pawn endgame. totally winning position. He just needs to wait. Wait until the white king gives way, then advance. Oh, he's winning. 18 seconds is surely enough. And he wins! His opponent resigns.
I need to say for the total that I am... That's amazing, incredible that I actually won. That was a miracle. It was, as you said, a miracle because there was this situation right here, and now it's showing something.
Yeah, so he was at least very happy and kind of nice of the opponent to give up. No offense to Torstein, but we've seen him struggle with the clock when you don't get any extra time per move. So Torstein getting his final victory there. That was a nice way to round off the day. And there are still some games going on. We can see that Duda and Blue Bomb are still playing. And that could mean something for the top 10, which is the placements that determine who gets points for the Champions Chess Tour leaderboard, and it is Blue Bomb who gets those important points, and he actually ends up in 8th place then, which would mean that he gets, I think, 2 points for the total standings. Magnus 6th place, and at the very top we've got Hikaru winning by 1.5 points. It's quite amazing, David.
Yeah, quite amazing. Many congratulations to Hikaru. It's been a great 24 hours for him, qualifying for the finals of the Speed Chess Championship and now winning Tidal Tuesday. He's a man in form. And yeah, what a golden time for Tidal Tuesday. All the top dogs joining and Hikaru winning this time.
And I'm going to assume then that means that the US did win the country standings. No surprise there, but it was a close fight with Germany. Many good players. Rasmus Svane beating Magnus, one of the highlights for the German team. And they did also very well. And then India, they're always in contention, but they kind of came out of nowhere today. Who was doing well for India here? Pranav, of course.
Pranav and slightly further down in 18th, Aravind. But I see 3 German flags in the top 11. That is very, very impressive. Yeah, England need to up their game.
Absolutely. And we now have these 10 players. They will be getting points for the Champions Chess Tour total leaderboard. So that's going to be very interesting to see what it looks like after that. And but before we do that, we are going to take a look at what some of the action that's been going on. One of the highlights today.
And this was a crazy turnaround. Hikaru in a dead loss position. Look at the eval bar saying white is just winning. White has 2 extra pawns. There's only 1 trap. You have to avoid queen takes pawn here due to a pin on the second rank. But Fedoseev, still with 1 minute on his clock, blundered. Checkmate in 2. Queen takes pawn. Swooping in. Hikaru using up one of his 9 lives. And this was key to his tournament victory.
Wow, and that was one of the highlights for me as well. David, even when you were commenting this, you first talked about the other pawn that was hanging, and then you were like, oh, and this pawn's hanging. Oh, and if that pawn lost, it would be checkmate. So it was almost like, it wasn't the easiest thing to see, but mate in 2. How often does that happen at this level? Very, very rarely. So very nice win by Hikaru there. Potentially a bit undeserved, but 10.5. That's a bitter amount of points to get.
Yeah, should have been the 11. But he still won. I mean, he's still happy, but for sure he felt it during that last game.
That's typical chess player approach. It's like we forget our victories. We just think about what could have been. We regret things. And yeah, that 10.5. I can see it in your voice. You just wish it was 11-2. Just so close. We love those patterns.
Yeah, but would he have anything to lose if he just played to lose on the final game? Is it just his rating that he's afraid of?
Maybe. I think he did kind of play quite high risk at the beginning, but Jeffrey was so solid that, I mean, Hikaru pretty much was a pawn down from only fighting for a draw from an early point. So I think the opening went a bit wrong. That was the main problem.
All right. Well, we're looking forward to hearing from some of the players that have participated in this tournament today. I can also notice Nepo, we didn't really talk about him. Grishuk, like there's a lot of people that kind of came sailing towards the end here, but getting important points for the Esports World Cup.
Exactly. Nodibek Abdusattorov, one of the best players in the world, getting 5th. Like you said, Grishuk. Nice to see Abdusattorov, MVL, Bluebaum, Nepo, who were just knocked out recently. Keimer, who just lost a few days ago in the World Cup. That they're already kind of shaping up. I think it's because the top players have their eyes focused on the World Rapid and Blitz Championships over Christmas and the New Year. They want to get used to this new time format. And they need to work on their speed. So I'm expecting them to continue joining as the weeks go on.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see who participates in the Rapid and Blitz. We're getting ready for a switch in the studio. So stay tuned for our chat with Torstein Bach.
Here we go.
All right, Torstein, congratulations on winning the last game.
Yes.
What was it like to be talking about your game and playing at the same time against some of the best players in the world?
Well, yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun. But of course, I mean, I used to be an ambitious player quite a few years ago. So, I mean, it's a bit rough and tough to see all my blunders and experience them on the board and being surprised by my opponents. But as you said, I had a wonderful save in the last game. So, you know, it's always something to finish on a save. And there's nothing better, really, than winning a lost game.
And you also were able to start the tournament in a very good way. You drew Jan Gustafsson, and then you beat a 2800. Like, you were doing really well in the start.
I was doing well at the start, so it might have been pure luck, I guess. I don't know, but then also when you start losing, I mean, it costs you some energy, and it can be a bit difficult to get back on track also. But I think, you know, there are... Basically, I can lose against anyone here, so and I can win against some of them. But you know, I guess I got what I deserved. I was a queen up in one game and ended up losing.
We saw that game. We were following. I was going to say that the clock seemed to be your enemy today.
Yeah.
Was it very different for you to play without increment?
Well, I guess, to be honest, I think I have the same problem even with increment. You know, yeah, those 2 seconds, that's not much for me. So, but I guess, you know, speed chess is really a young man or young woman's game, really. So I tried to pick up my speed, but, you know, it's amazing how fast 30 seconds go by, really, when you play. And in so many games, I just found that, you know, oh my God, I mean, I'm a minute behind after just like 10 moves or 15 moves. And in particular, I guess, without the increment, it's quite tough then, because you know that, you know, if there's nothing in particular happening in the game, you're almost bound to lose, right? So I think I will have to practice really my time management.
Yeah.
Try to move a lot faster at the start and sort of accepting that the opening is a weakness for me these days. I mean, it's you play many players here who are ambitious and who study the openings, and then it's quite tough to get a good start. But you sort of just, instead of trying to fix that problem at the board, you sort of just have to accept that, you know, well, I just have to play fast regardless, and then maybe some games I will make an opening blunder, but at least I won't be a minute behind.
And Torstein, you are most famous for your chess commentary on the Norwegian national channel. And so you're not playing as much these days. And what I thought was very funny was that when you were playing a tournament over the board and you pressed the wrong clock, it became headlines in Norwegian media that you were involved in this. Look at these images.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's as you see, it was a packed tournament there in Vestby, just outside of Oslo. So I didn't really, I didn't realize I made it. Yeah, and now there's sort of confusion.
And David, you're also involved here.
Yeah, but I didn't. Yeah, and some people speculated that I sort of understood I had made some error, but in fact I didn't. Just when I saw the film, I realized that, you know, oh my God, did I do that? Yeah. So yeah, it was quite fun.
My opponent looked at me like he thought it was me, and he was like, "How dare you?" And I was like, "I swear, I've never in my career forgotten to press the clock." But that one time,
that was strange.
I remember coming back to work on Monday because this was during some weekend, and some people at my job were like, "Did you see that Torstein Bach was involved in like a clock scandal?" And I was like, what has happened? So
yeah, but it's quite interesting also because I mean I think for most tournament players it would be sort of I mean it's not a big deal really, you know, you press the wrong clock, but in particular for people who are not, you know, part of, I mean, hardcore chess players who have been to loads of tournaments. I mean, it can sort of seem like a big thing, right? You don't press the right clock, and there's a sort of a, I mean, what would be the outcome if the arbiter was there and whatever. So then it can sort of become a viral thing. And, yeah.
Funnily enough, it didn't make it viral, but someone else did the same to my opponent, a different opponent in a different round later on. So it happened twice in that tournament.
So you're playing some Blitz sometimes, Torstein, but the main thing for you on your chess calendar now, it's the Rapid and Blitz that is shown to more than 1 million Norwegian people during Christmas. How are you preparing for that?
Yeah, I mean, actually, I did a lot more chess studies this year than any other recent year, because I did write a book on chess, you know, a book for the general public, which is now on the bestseller list in Norway, which is great, and I'm promoting that book now the coming weeks before Christmas also. So that's sort of been more preparations than before, and so right before I sort of read up on this year's results. I try to see if there are any, you know, newcomers. I'm a bit lucky, I feel, compared to other sport commentators, because the chess world is quite stable. I mean, we do get, of course, the new Indian players and so on, but still, I mean, so many names are the same as when we started showing it on TV in 2013, you know? And people can be top players for 20, 30 years, and in other sports, you know, they will sort of be new guys. People will quit, and the new people coming in all the time. So I've been a bit lucky in that regard. I mean, also, as this is chess really for the general public in a way that is I mean, perhaps unique to the world, really, that also the audience, a lot of them don't even know the rules, right? So there's not much value for me in knowing like the latest developments in the Najdorf or something like that. I mean, I would love to know it for my own sake, you know? But still, I couldn't sort of say, well, you know, in move 22 in the bishop g5 line with this and that, you know, now suddenly a3 is a wonderful, or whatever it would be. You know, it would be totally irrelevant to my audience. So that's also why, I mean, theoretical knowledge is not that important as it would be if you were doing commentary for, you know, club players or expert level players.
But are you now inspired to play Title Tuesday more often?
Well, I am, and I would love to. It's just that, you know, I do have on Tuesdays, we have a local chess club, which my wife and myself, so we started 2 years ago in the part of Oslo where we live. So and we have chess for kids every Tuesday. So that's why, in particular, Tuesdays it's a bit difficult for me to play. But I mean, it's a lot of fun, and I love the streaming bit also. You know, being able to sort of have good fun and do commentary for people who enjoy it, and laughing at my own blunders. You know,
Aslak was doing like a voiceover to translate your Norwegian, and he was like, you were trying to kind of be Torstein in that moment.
I'm trying to, you have a lot of, your mood is usually showing if you're happy or if you are disappointed with yourself.
Sometimes I think it's the same for all chess players, right? We are, and perhaps as I also sort of reflect on, I guess, in my book, is sort of, it would be nice if as a chess player you would enjoy your good moves as much as you think about your bad moves, but I think that's not really the case for any of us, and we are sort of usually reflecting on how could I make that mistake one more time, you know. I've been playing chess for 40 years and still I sort of miss a simple fork or something. I mean, it's incredible.
So did the top players. I mean, we were looking here at Fedoseev missing a mate in 2 against Nakamura. That was a crazy moment during the broadcast, and it turned out to mean a lot for the CCT standings, the standings in total that will really define who is going to the Esports World Cup. And we can see that Hikaru, after winning today, now climbs into 2nd place with 41 points ahead of Firouzja, and Maxime Vachier-Lagrave and Nepo taking some important points to get themselves relevant for the Esports World Cup, David.
Exactly, and it looks like Magnus will win the autumn split. That's pretty much decided. Firouzja will need to win next time to leapfrog Hikaru. But very, very important, the players hunting down those points. And we saw pretty much everyone who isn't involved with the World Cup play today, which is nice to see, all the top dogs.
all the top dogs. They will also be back next Tuesday because we have here the scoreboard, and it's one more week of autumn split until we are going to the next ones. But thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you to Aslak for being here in the studio with us. Thank you to Torstein for streaming, and thank you to you as always, David. We will be back next Tuesday for the final week of this split.
Black's pieces are going to be tied down defending that pawn for the rest of the game, and we see a big blunder from Bortnik. It's a strategic mistake. Look at the white bishop now. Its prowess is so strong on the diagonal. Has Magnus mouse slipped? Or is that an error?
He was trying to castle and he just...
Oh no.
Magnus resigns. And all blunder from Hans Niemann. We do see rook takes knight now is available due to a pin.
Here we go.